And hello, everyone. It is I, your friend, streamer, longtime lover, Sabaton Liam here, back with you once again, and we are back with finally more Call of Cthulhu. How are you guys going on this day, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you may be? I hope you're having a fantastic one. Thank you, Decoy. And how are you going? Are you excited as I am? I think you are. I hope everyone's having a fantastic time. Get ready to settle back into Call of Cthulhu. And our DM has said some weird stuff's going to go on. All right, so we'll jump into chat and see exactly what's going on.
Now recording.
Oh, thank you.
Just in time.
Now recording.
I was low-key hoping that I could get the recording bot joining to line up with you joining so that you would hear now recording. I'm so glad. I totally meant for it to happen that way.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Should we do a little quick recap since it's been a while?
We will. I'm gonna do an intro. It's gonna have a recap, and I'm gonna reintroduce the mystery, and then we're gonna go straight into the next part of it. All right, I'll get some music. Hello. Yes, but don't worry. I don't think you'll die just because you don't have your notes. I'm gonna give you most of the information you need. It has been a while. I'm gonna be a little bit kind. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into it. Welcome back to this world of indecipherable cosmic horror that we call Call of Cthulhu. We're back for another glimpse into the depths of your worst nightmares. I am, as always, your keeper, Dale, or DG. And, as always, I'm not necessarily your benevolent guide. Let's get into it. Last time, or well, not last time, but the last time before that, our investigators got caught up in the mystery of Angela Lawrence, a young girl from a normal, comfortable family in the city of Bridgewater who took her own life by hurling herself off a tree on the edge of the Hockomock swamp and battering her body to pieces on the jagged rocks below. Our investigators started by questioning the Lawrence family to get a feeling of what may have led to Angela making such a drastic and permanent decision. And eventually, the investigators learned that Angela had obtained possession of a strange library book. A book that described in blatant detail some of the folklore of the native Wampanoag tribe who were run out of the Hockomock swamp and the area that Bridgewater now occupies decades ago. Upon reading this book, Angela became unhealthily obsessed with a monument known as the Solitude Stone, a strange onyx black cairn on the edge of the Hockomock swamp. And it was when the investigators investigated this stone that they learned the true reasons, or at least glimpsed some of the true forces at work here. For you see, they eventually discovered that Angela Lawrence did not take her own life out of choice, but rather was forced to by the strange, otherworldly servants of one of the Hockomock Swamp's inhabitants. She had encountered Small, childlike creatures clad in Indian headdresses who fired darts at her. One of the investigators, Florence, unfortunately, was also struck in the same way during the investigation, and it is through Florence's experiences that the investigators learned what befell Angela. As the darts contained a strange chemical, a chemical that severed Florence's anchor to the world of the living, pulling her closer to the world of dreams, to the world of the dead, enabling her to hear the call of the thing beyond. And this, unfortunately, eventually led to her death. The investigators learned that the architect of these bizarre events was known as Mikote, an otherworldly creature inhabiting the Hockomock Swamp and believed by the Wampanoag tribe to be a guardian between the world of the living and the world of the dead. And that the Wampanoag tribe, upon being ousted from their ancestral homeland, cursed the white settlers, called upon their lord Mikote to avenge them and drive away their oppressors in another age. And that's where we'll pick up tonight. We join the investigators once more in the quiet, cozy surroundings of Haynes Library. You're in your little alcove at the very back, away from the hustle and bustle of the college students and the faculty, and Dr. Edwin Nichols gestures at the table in front of him where all of the notes and research from this case you've discovered so far have been compiled.
Didn't we
He
have...
smiled.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Weren't me and Dominica in the library researching something, or am I misremembering things?
No, you were, but we will get to that moment. We will get to that, because in between last session and this one, there hasn't been a lot of time. It's only been like a week, so you wouldn't have made much progress. So all the downtime stuff you'll do after this scenario.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Dr. Nichols smiles and he points at the stacks of paper and the books and the newspaper clippings that you've got laid out, and he says, well, despite everything that happened with poor Florence, we finally seem to be in a position to act. We have all the information, all the tools we need to figure out a solution to put an end to this madness and avenge Angela and Florence. He hangs his head. And Violet as well, I suppose, in her own way. Here, sir, and ma'am, he gathers you around. I'd like to draw your attention to this particular piece of material here. And in Owlbear Rodeo, I'm going to bring up one of the handouts you obtained during the course of your investigation.
Oh, yay.
This is, of course, an excerpt from a book that Blake discovered in the Bridgewater Public Library during the investigation. The book was written by a local historian and anthropologist and concerns the Wampanoag tribe being driven from this land. It reads, "The Indians have all disappeared. The war is over and King Philip has surrendered. Yet while we know the Wampanoag still had 200 to 300 warriors left in their ranks, only a handful could be found after the battle. Our scouts scoured the swamp trying to find them, and while we lost a man of our own to the dangers of the Devil's Swamp, no natives could be found. A cold mist has formed over the swamp. The shaman of the tribe has told me that they have given themselves to the spirit of the swamp to ensure victory in a future war to come. that their warriors have sacrificed their right to ascend to the afterlife that awaits them, choosing instead to be trapped forever in the swamp, cursing their enemies. What the Wampanoag have mistaken as the spirit of the swamp, however, is instead a foul creature known as Mikote. Legends tell that it resides in a body of water that serves as a border between the worlds of the living and the dead, and that it is attended by an army of the faithful dead. Mikote is also known for sending divine wisdom through dreams, a medium through which he calls his faithful to join him. Of the means to destroy this foul devil, nothing is known, save for the fact that the legends of the Wampanoag ascribe the power to call and expunge Mikote to the tribal shaman alone. As the tribe now retreats from these lands, such a lead shall remain unresolved.
Just out of character, I'd like to say, fuck the Dreamlands.
Yes, we'll be having much more to do with them at some point in the near future.
Oh no.
Dr. Nichols clears his throat and points at the other key piece of information. This one, an excerpt from an occult tome that Florence discovered. Dominique, she left it in your care, and do you make a habit of carrying your sister's notes around with you? Have you had a chance to look through them in the week since last session, and was there anything in particular that would have concerned you?
Ah, you put me on the spot. Scrolling. What did I find again? What did my sister find?
Well, this would be an excerpt from an occult book that would describe part of what Mikote is doing, but this is what Nichols is going to show you, but I was just asking if there was anything else in her research that caught your attention while you were looking through it. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to know about what she was investigating before she met her untimely end?
Fuck. Did I write notes about what I wanted to find out? Surely I did.
Surely. Do 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 do. Searching.
Okay, I think Dominica's basically only more concerned about that freaking manuscript that she was that her sister was carrying.
Yeah, that she and Blake are working on together. And you've had a little crack at it in the week or so since last session, but it is a big, thick text, and you're working off someone who speaks Macedonian, which is a different enough dialect from Greek that you can't exactly translate this archaic Greek incredibly quickly. So far, all you've managed to glean are a couple scant words and sentences, but you're looking forward to a big period of just a chance to relax after this mystery is solved, and you're looking forward to digging into it then. So for now, you just open up the little attaché case you carry around with you, and you hand Dr. Nichols the piece of material that he is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
He unfurls the page, and then he lays it down on the table with all of your other clues. And then he clears his throat and begins to read. Chapter 4, Observations on Death. In a highly charged magical environment, a person can observe the soul leaving the body in the form of a white mist. The mist will always travel upwards, regardless of whether the person was of good moral character in life. Perhaps judgment comes later, but who among mortals can say? In addition, sometimes one can observe an orb of bright colour. These have been witnessed in red, green, blue, white, or yellow. Conventional wisdom suggests this is the life energy of a person, and its colour indicates the strength of the energy. The energy orbs of children, always red, may be the most powerful. It is the belief of certain esoteric orders that this energy may be repurposed to animate the dead. As he finishes reading this page, I would like Blake to make a sand check for me, please.
Oh. Okay, where's my die? That's What's my sanity? 47. Okay. That's an 80, so big fail.
So Blake, as he reads this passage that talks about the soul leaving the body, these coloured orbs rising to the sky, your mind flashes back to that night, the night when Florence met her end, and in the briefest flash of a second, you see one of those living dead monstrosities pull back its arm and thrust it down, smashing her head against the rock. You see the blood spill, you see the shards of bone fly through the air, and then you remember seeing incorporeal, threadbare at first, but then gaining in clarity and coherence as it rose higher and higher, the white mist coalescing into the form of an orb, floating up into the canopy of the swamp and into the blackness of the night sky. You shake your head, feeling your spine shiver as you recall the moment of her death, and you may reduce your sanity by 1 point, please.
Oh, good. 1 point. Oh, I feel like I got it off that pretty light.
But Dominique and Teve and Dr. Nichols as well all notice that momentary lapse in Blake's composure, his bottom lip trembling, dropping open, the momentary loss of colour in his cheeks, and then the nervous swallow as he tries to recompose himself.
You doing all right, Specs?
I'll be fine. Just need a minute.
How about I put on How about I put on the cuppa?
Insanity.
How about I put on the kettle for a bit of cuppa?
A bit of insanity.
A bit of a cheeky tea break.
Nichols, go ahead.
I push all thoughts of Florence. Well, try to push the thoughts of Florence in the back of my head, and I just look at Steve going, yeah. A couple would be pretty good.
Nichols points at a little alcove behind a row of shelves, and he says, "Oh, there's a break room over there. Should be a kettle you can set up. Get some tea on the pot. Maybe it'd help us all if we could get some warmth into our bones." And then he looks over.
I'll be right back.
And Teve gets up and he heads over into the kitchen. And Teve, you can just brew tea without rolling a check. But if you want to brew your special sanity, that will, of course, require a check.
I could get that 1 point left.
Roll that special sanity.
So go ahead.
Okay, what am I rolling, sorry?
Let's say bushcraft.
Bushcraft? That is a 1.
1. So you're all gathered around the table, and as Dr. Nichols begins to rifle through more of the material, looking for more clues to summarize, he's drowned out suddenly by a high-pitched whistle coming from the break room. And he looks up and you see him mouth, "Oh, the kettle's on." But then Teve steps out of the room, and instead of holding a kettle in his hand, he's got his billy on a stick slung over his shoulder, and he's got a big empty beer bottle that's full of freshly poured tea. The mist, the steam still rising from it and fogging up the inside of the bottle. "Oh, good," says Nichols. There's some cups under the table there. Please allow me." And he reaches underneath the table and produces a teacup for each of you. Then, before he can say anything else, you hear the sound of a bell ringing somewhere away in the quiet surroundings of the library. You'll look over your shoulders to glance in the direction of the library's entrance, and you're flooded with the late morning sunlight as Edna steps through the door. She looks like her usual composed, classy self, but the look on her face says she's anything but composed. Her lips thinned, her forehead wrinkled in concern. She nods a silent greeting to each of you, and then she makes her way to the table. Edna, says Nichols, nodding in her direction. Just in time. I assume the trip back from Boston was uneventful? She nods, her lips still pursed. Yes, but... when I said I had good news, it turns out it's not as simple as I thought it was going to be. Nichols shakes his head, and he turns to the rest of you, and he says... I sent Edna up to Boston to look into some things. As you can see here in the anthropologist's book, it says only a shaman of the Wampanoag tribe has the power to expunge Mikote. But as they were ousted from this land, and nobody bothered to record where they migrated to or where they were eventually resettled, at least here in Bridgewater, there was no hope of finding a shaman who could help us. So I sent Edna to Boston to look in the records in City Hall. And... well, I'll let you explain, he motions to Edna. She clears her throat, and she says, yes, well, the Wampanoag were resettled. They formed a little township by the name of Mashpee. It's quite close to here, exactly. It's quite close to here, actually. She points down at the map that's unfurled on the table. She points in the northwest, near a town called Norton. And she says, about a day's drive, give or less, I'd say. She says from here, they're just past Norton. But the problem is, she says, and she pauses for a second. Well, I was told that they're not exactly welcoming to outsiders, especially not white folk. It's understandable given the circumstances. If their shaman is what we need to help us put an end to this, we're going to have to try to find a way to convince him. Because I was told that the Wampanoag are very insular. They're not going to kill us on sight or anything like that. God, no. But when they see us pull up in a nice Rolls Royce, and they see me well-to-do and dressed up nicely, and they see a bunch of white people asking questions, they're not exactly going to be forthcoming. In fact, given that this Mikote is, or was, their god or guardian spirit at one point, she trails off and hangs her head, and Nichols raises an eyebrow and he says, you're not certain that the Wampanoag aren't in league with Mikote. We don't even know if going to talk to them is safe. She nods. Yeah. But I thought it would help to at least know that we have that as an option. Nichols nods, agreeing. Well, it seems like it's our only option, at least at the moment, but what do the rest of you have to say about this?
Oh,
I think...
I've dealt with quite a few troll folk over the years. As long as we can find some common ground, it shouldn't be too much of a worry.
His mouth drops agape. Troll folk? Well, surely you won't say that within an earshot of the Wampanoag people. I would presume any chance we have of acquiring their aid would be right out the window. But I like your enthusiasm, and I agree. I think going to the Mashpee Township and at least trying to get them on side, if we can't get them to help us, at the very least, they will probably have information about Mikote, so we know and can understand better what we're dealing with. Go ahead, Blake.
Maybe we should try to find bring them a gift of goodwill. What do these people like?
He gestures over at the countless library shelves. Well, I've never met anyone from that tribe. I can't imagine they could be easily bought with gifts. After all, you're talking about years of oppression and genocide. If you're going to provide a peace offering, it should be meaningful.
He reaches into his bag and brings out what looks like a skull on a stick and rattles it about. Something like this might help.
Can I do like before we go out?
Dominica just covers her face in shame and shakes her head.
Yes, I agree. I suspect something more subtle and more meaningful might be the key.
Can I do a library use to see if I can like try to find a book of like the village customs and like sort of like showing that we mean no harm and a sign of respect?
I don't see why not, says Nichols. The anthropology section should be... Oh, you know what you're doing, of course, he says.
Of course.
Just bear in mind, if you're going to go to Mashpee today, given that it is a long drive, you should probably not leave it till much later than lunchtime to leave. So, if you're good at researching under pressure... knock yourself out, as the young people say these days.
I'll think I'll be fine, Doctor.
What's your library use, Liam?
60.
Mine is 70, and my anthropology is also 70. So I should.
I would say anthropology would give you better results than library search.
Okay.
And because you do have Blake with you, and he's willing to help, you can make that anthropology with advantage, which means you roll twice and take the better roll.
Okay.
And Teve, you were saying something?
Okay, so Teve pours out the tea and goes, "Oh, this is a nice buzz button blend," and hands them all out and has a sip. And then he, as they're looking into what they'll like, Steve sees a couple of pictures of some tribal items and starts making something with bushcraft.
Yeah. So like you'll go ahead.
I rolled an 84, and then the next roll was a 1.
Oh my god!
Fantastic! Best possible roll. Nice. Yeah. So you all take a sip of Teve's tea, and by now you're used to the fact that it doesn't taste anything like tea. You're expecting something earthy, sweet, something that vaguely tastes of sweat, and you're surprised that this, for once, just seems to taste like tea. Nonetheless,
let's go numb.
Yeah, that you feel the warmth spread to the extremities of your limbs, and you turn to Teve to thank him and realize your tongue is numb. But you do feel more invigorated, and so everyone may recover 1d3 points of sanity.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
which one's the D3, honey?
The triangle.
No, the 6, and you just do it with...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Blake leads... And then Blake leads Dominique over to the anthropology section, and with Blake's help, Dominique locates a book entitled Folklore of the Bridgewater Triangle and Regional Massachusetts. And she gets it out and knows exactly what she's looking for. And Blake, you've spent your whole life in libraries, but you've never seen anyone move through a book with as much purpose as her right now. She knows exactly where to go. She glances at the contents page and then wrenches a handful of pages across, and then she's right there on the chapter about the Wampanoag tribe.
Blake takes off his...
Blake's getting a book boner.
I was just not in those words, but yes. I just take off my glasses and wipe a bit of the steam off and be like, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, I've never seen a woman go through books that is quickly as I do. Oh, be still, thy beating heart.
Tev whacks him on the shoulder and goes, "Keep it in your pants, mate."
It's okay, Teve. The bookworm's firmly in the book's bookmark.
Oh my.
So there is nothing specifically within the book that refers to gift or gift giving. However, there is general information about the tribe. Their name, Wampanoag, means people of the light, and about 4,000 to 5,000 of them live in New England. There are multiple communities of them scattered around the area. Mashpee Township is just one. There's also other places with names like Pocasset and Aquina and Herring Pond, but Mashpee is one of the larger groups, and it is here where any shaman who would know about Mikote would likely to be found. The Wampanoag homeland provided bountiful food for fulfillment of all the people's needs, and the people sort of saw themselves as the ones in charge of keeping the balance and respect for all living beings, and they considered they considered the bounty of nature itself to be a gift from the creator. They were a seasonal people. They lived in the forest and the valleys during winter, and during the warmer months they would move to the rivers, ponds, and oceans. So these people were very much valuing their relationship with nature itself.
Hmm.
And based on that, if you'd like, you can roll an intelligence check.
Is there any like tree or flower that is like really prominent to them?
I guess that's what the intelligence checker would be for.
Oh, okay.
What's my? I got 15s, and that's. Can I use one luck point to make that a critical?
You sure can.
Excellent.
I also rolled a 26. Yay.
So Blake, she mentions a sort of flower or a native plant to you, but it occurs to you that Mashpee isn't that far enough away. It's still relatively close to the Hockomock Swamp that there wouldn't necessarily be any aspect of the land itself that they miss. Rather, what occurs to you, Blake, is that as a people whose lives very much revolved around the seasons, and when food would come into when things would come into bounty, and and the ebb and flow of what nature would provide to them, you get the idea that perhaps a good peace offering would be, well, the most symbolic of all, to break bread and share food as a show of peace with these people, to share with them one of nature's gifts.
In short, you're saying we're going to be the pilgrims bringing the food in, then we're just going to shoot all the Indians?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. That was completely out of character.
Well, I mean, it is the 1920s, but I think even then there might still be some unnecessary, unwanted attention from the authorities if a whole town of people
mysteriously vanish.
Oh no! I'm just thinking Tev hears Blake talk about breaking bread and starts rooting around in his knapsack for coupons.
Meanwhile, Tev is like at the back of the library, and he's like sitting at a desk, and there's piles of books around him, but he's not studying. He's using these books as inspiration, and a few of them even have their pages ripped out, and which are now being liberally applied as one of the ingredients of his arts and crafts project.
No, I know what I'm making. I know what
What
I'm
are you
making.
making?
A cornucopia.
No. It's it's one of those spinner things that puts on a shadow play.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, okay. Is
Mm.
there anything else in the book that can give us like any more insight into who the tribe is? Because this is like the first time we've actually found something
Yeah.
about the tribe in text.
Yeah, well, the book it describes the basics of their folklore that I just told you, but in terms of them as actual people, this book is fairly scant on, fairly sparse on information. It's just the nature of the time. The people who wrote the book weren't really interested in the Wampanoag as people. They were just interested in cataloging what they thought were their bizarre, non-European customs. So the only hint you get from the book itself, Dominique, is that they are a ostensibly peace-loving, but not exactly welcoming or friendly people, which seems understandable given what they've been through.
I'm sorry, I've just immediately gone Pocahontas. These white men are dangerous.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
From Carousel. That's what it's called.
And then you hear the sound of paper being gripped, and Dr. Nichols says, "Oh, good heavens!" He looks around to see Teve emerge, holding up the thing he's created, and he holds it up in a shaft of sunlight that's beaming through the window, and the shadows dance on the wall for a second. At first, Dr. Nichols seems unamused, but then as he watches the shadows dance, he meets your eyes, Teve, and raises an eyebrow, and in spite of himself, smiles. "You know what? I'm sure this was the furthest thing from your mind, but the way the shadows dance, the way this thing uses the sunlight to create patterns, plays quite perfectly into these people and their synchronicity with the sun and the rhythms of the sun."
It's even better than that. I overheard you talking about the nature aspect. It's goes through the seasons, mate.
Precisely. It will be something that they can use to measure the passing of time. Look at me. We're in the second decade of the 20th century. I'm sure they have clocks and other ways to keep track of the passing of the seasons, but it's the symbolic nature, the thought that counts, as they say.
No, mate. It shows the shadows passing through the seasons as a shadow play.
"I see what you mean," he says. "Well, hopefully that will appeal to their sense of community with the land."
Well, it's either this or me skull rattle, so
I think this spinning gizmo you've made would be the better alternative. Blake, Dominique, is there anything else you would like to do before you set off? He looks over his shoulder, and Edna's standing at the entrance of the library, tapping her foot impatiently. "I believe Edna's keen to get on the road."
Don't tell me she's driving.
Well, you'll have to take it up with her, he says. I've heard the horror stories, but I'm not sure I'm willing to pick that particular battle.
My hands just start shaking and I just start nervously sweating. But what season are we in?
Well, it's very, very late. It's very early summer, late spring, early summer at this point, about June, July.
Well, might I suggest to the others that we well, what's the time at the moment?
It's about 10:30 in the morning.
Oh.
Based on what the map says, it should the drive will take about 2 or 3 hours at a good clip. Or factoring in the time it takes to get back, you're probably going to be on the road for half the day.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, if Etna's driving, we'll be there in half the time.
Yeah, with half the amount of body parts.
I think we could spare half an hour to do a bit of shopping to get some season appropriate food.
I think that's a good idea, says Nichols. Just don't leave it too late. One girl's already lost her life, and one of our own as well. We need to put a stop to this Mikote before the things in the swamp escalate.
Yes, I agree. I look at Teve and Dominica and begrudgingly at Edna. I think we should head to the markets.
Best of luck, he says. He takes a seat down at the desk and starts rearranging all of the books that Teve has put out, and then he realizes there's too many, and you hear him audibly sigh. I'll be paying a visit to the Lawrence family while you're gone. Maybe I'll speak to Angela one more time, maybe I'll speak to Angela's parents one more time, see if there's anything we might have missed. Hopefully by the time you get back, I'll have something to share with you.
Excellent.
He takes one last glance at you as you're all stepping through the door, and he meets your eyes one by one, and he doesn't say anything. He just gives you that look that by now you've come to understand means good luck. The look that means, I hope I get to see you again, but I've made peace with the fact that I might not. And you step out into the bright morning sunlight. So, to the market?
To the market.
To the market. Luckily, the market isn't that far from Haynes College. Haynes College is close to the main street, which is where most of the shops and businesses are. And so you find yourself sighing with relief, Blake, when you realize that you don't have to ride in Edna's car to get there.
Oh, thank merciful Jesus.
Go and do your shopping, she says, leaning against the car's body, folding her arms. I'll be here, getting the girl ready for the drive. Don't keep me waiting that long. And she winks.
Oh, okay. So, late summer food. So, what? Oh, okay. Who knows garden stuff? Oh, this is when we need Froggy here.
Teve has great natural world skills.
Oh, yeah.
Teve does.
Right, Teve, I'll leave this in your hand. We need, food or, for this type of season that would appeal the best to the village.
Teve looks around. Yeah, I think I can wrangle up a feast.
All right, Teve,
Starts
go
going
ahead.
through the stalls.
Go ahead, roll your natural world for me.
The 22, which is a hard pass.
So there's a couple of stalls on the side of the roads, just in front of the general store and the post office. And you just stand there on the corner of the street and watch Teve cross the road, and you watch as he heads to one stand and does a funny rope trick, and the young girl behind the counter laughs and reaches under and gives him a brown paper bag of something. And then he heads inside the general store, and you lose track of him in the darkness until he emerges once again, his arms covered in boxes and bags, and somehow holding all this stuff manages to negotiate another deal with a young boy selling farm produce a couple of feet away. And finally, he rejoins the rest of you on the edge of the street at Edna's car, laden down with pretty much everything you would require to make a traditional summer night feast.
Additional for Teve.
You peek into the bags and you see a couple of things that you're pretty sure nobody other than Teve would actually eat. Or at least things that only Teve would think would ever go together, like mushrooms and extremely violently hot-looking purple chili peppers.
Oh, dear God.
Maybe some Massachusetts oysters.
The fishy smell wafting from one of the bags happens to be...
There's no fishy smell. They're bull testicles.
Oh, my God.
The funny the funny vaguely fishy smell emanating from one of the bags turns out to not be oysters or clams as you were expecting, but large bulbous pink ball-shaped things that Teve insists are quite a delicacy in some parts of the world. And then Edna helps him pack all of the food into the boot of the car, and then just as the clock on the Haynes College clock tower strikes 12 o'clock lunchtime, she rolls her eyes, looks over at Blake, and says, "All right, big boy, brace yourself. 3-hour drive. Unless, of course, someone else would like to take the wheel. Bear in mind, I will be watching what you do with my car like a hawk."
Please, someone just take over. My heart can't take this again. Although no one else has drive auto, so we're kind of screwed.
Eve just hands him a book. You'll be right, mate. And then suddenly, like, as you open the book, you realize there's a spew bag in there.
I thought it would be funny. You just pull out a random book and it's actually a driver's manual.
Driver's manual. Teve helps Blake get settled in the back seat with a very, very thick book of math equations that he grabbed off a shelf. And then everyone piles into the Rolls Royce. It's a roomy car, but with all of you in there, and with all of the stuff Teve bought, and with the knowledge that you're about to go on a 3-hour drive with Edna, the car seems a lot more cramped and poorly held together than it actually is.
I take off my glasses so I don't see what's happening.
Yeah. Good thing too, because as soon as you take your glasses off, you lurch forwards as the engine roars to life and Edna shouts, "Hold on back there!" as the car begins to rocket down the main street and it bumps at least 3 times.
Immediately, Blake's just
holes and she picks up speed and the general store and the post office speed by the faces of all the people watching just a skin-colored blur. And no more than 10 minutes later, the town of Bridgewater is behind you. The car is making its way alone down a long, winding road that snakes through the countryside, flanked to the right by the ever-present Hockomock swamp, the darkness beyond the gnarled tree line seeming to beckon, seeming to mock, unsettling to you even from the safety of the vehicle as it glides towards its destination. So, Blake, you're definitely in the back seat, am I right?
Well, I assume that's where Teve shoved me.
Why would we put him in the front seat?
Probably wise. So, was anyone actually game enough to get in the front seat with Edna?
Steve's an adventurer.
Yep.
Oh god.
So
make a survival check.
You've left Dominique in the back next to Blake while he's just furiously reciting the contents of this book and reading them out, and every sentence he starts is punctuated with another as the car continues to bounce and jerk and rock. Teve, you've got your eye on the road. You're in the front. I'd like you to go ahead and make a spot hidden check for me.
Ooh,
Oh no.
That's a 20.
That's
that is
a 20.
hard half pass.
You hear Teve heave again, and to distract yourself from him, you focus on the windshield and everything beyond it. You see the road stretching onwards, twisting over hills, dipping down into ditches, and seeming to roll on infinitely until it's swallowed up by the bright blue summer sky. And then you see what looks like a human figure shrouded in shadow, shrouded, concealed in the shade cast by the Hockomock's tree line, staggering out onto the road, unaware of the vehicle barreling down towards him. Edna doesn't seem to have noticed. Not yet, Teve. Humming out loud as she changes the gear, looking down for a split second and not catching this man stumbling out onto the road. What do you do?
How old is this car? Does it have a handbrake?
It's a Rolls Royce. It's a fairly expensive car, so I would assume this car probably does, as would be one of the few cars of this period that would actually have such a luxury.
Yeah, I dare say the more
Okay.
expensive cars would.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna. Okay, so Teve's just gonna shout, "Look out!" and reef on the handbrake.
Go ahead, make a strength check for me, Teve. And I'll have Edna, and I will roll Edna's drive for her. You scream and reach out, and as Edna shouts, "What the hell?" you reach for the handbrake, you pull, and it feels like it won't budge. You grunt and then she sees the figure scant meters ahead of you. She screams as she grabs the wheel and wrenches it to the left to swerve out of the way. Tires screech, and you feel the car lift up onto one side, feeling for a split second as if it's going to tumble straight off the road, and then, oh, thank God, with a thud, it lands once more on all four wheels and comes to a stop, sliding the bumper gently into the figure that staggers out of the tree line onto the road. You catch a glimpse, all of you now, you catch a glimpse of this figure as the car gently bumps. The figure looks up, looks at you, and you see a man, gaunt, his hair messed up, missing in patches, blood and scratches covering his face, his eyes red, bloodshot with anguish. As the car rolls to a stop, he lets out a gasp and then sinks to the ground, crumpling beneath the hood of the car and out of view. Holy shit.
Teve jumps out of the car and immediately goes to sort of see what's going on and perhaps provide some first aid, I guess.
Blake reefs open the door and just collapses on the ground.
Dominique, do you do anything? Do you get out of the car to check as well, or are you going to stay in the car with Edna?
No, I think I'm just gonna stay in the car.
Clean the puke off.
Edna's hunched over the wheel, staring intently at the hood of the car. Holy shit, she whispers. Holy shit. And Teve and Blake, as you step out of the car and Blake immediately hurls his breakfast onto the road, she calls out, Teve, careful. Teve, you slowly make your way to the front of the car, and there you see him. If it is indeed a man, a broken body, arms jutting out in unnatural angles. It looks like a crumpled pile of rags and skin.
Wait, did we actually hit him?
You didn't hit him, not full force. You just sort of as the car slowed, you stopped right in front of him and just slightly nudged him. You can hear him groaning, as if he's struggling, as if he's gasping for breath.
I stick my head out the window and I yell out to Teve, "What's going on out there?"
You have to yell a lot harder because all you hear is.
Well, as I said before, Teve's checking him out. possibly providing first aid.
Yep, so you do
Alright.
approach him. You're gonna approach him with the intention of providing first aid.
I'm going to carefully. I'm going to, assume that there's something gonna happen, given that he's kind of, messed up.
So, Teve, you approach him very slowly, very carefully. He doesn't appear to be moving, but you can hear him groaning. As you stand over him, you realize this man is... You're surprised he's still alive, to be perfectly honest. It's not just his face that's covered in blood and scratches. His clothes, these threadbare brownish rags he's wearing that are torn in several places, are covered in mud and grime and patches of deep crimson, old, dried blood. As you begin to kneel down to take a closer look at him, Teve, you notice his breathing, his gasping for breath seems to stop, seems to pause for just a moment, and as his whole body seems to tense up, anticipating your touch. What do you do?
Him with a stick.
Oh my god.
You can
I'm
if you
sorry,
want.
But, I like Teve's like he's well aware of animals that play injured to lure in
Opossums.
unsuspecting prey. So he's approaching with the expectation that, especially after the shapeshifter, that it is something dangerous. So he's just gonna nudge him with his walking stick. Not
As soon as you touch him with the tip of your stick, he flips around, roars, "Ah!" as his hands reach and grab for the stick. He wraps his hands around the tip of it and he violently pulls, trying to wrench the stick out of your hands. And now that he's turned around, now that he's in front of you, struggling, playing a tug of war for this stick, you see, Teve, that his throat is cut wide open, a big gash. There is no way in hell this man is alive, and that strange rattling sound you heard was not him trying to breathe, it was the air passing through the gaping gash in his neck.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
So Tave brings out his trusty knife and stabs it in the eye.
Stabs it in the eye. Go ahead, make me a fighting brawl check.
That is a 3,
Oh my god.
and my brawl is 70.
Lovely. He got
actually, sorry. Yeah. Never mind. I was looking at my knife, but that's different roll.
Yeah, lovely. He got a 51. You're not sure why he wandered out of the swamp onto the road. And even though the car didn't hit him with any amount of force, he seems to be stunned enough that you're able to just pull on the stick, wrench it out of his hands, and then step over him. You withdraw your knife and begin to kneel down, and his fingers reach up, fumbling, grabbing at your cheeks, at your shoulder, at your neck. He gasps as you plunge the knife into the top of his head. His body shivers. He gasps once more, and then you feel his fingers that are scrabbling at your cheeks drop away.
Bloody zombies!
Hey, Florence, you're the one still in the car. Make me a spot hidden check, please.
Florence is dead.
Oh, no, sorry, not Florence. Dominique, yeah.
Spot hidden. My spot hidden is 67. Okay, we got a 36.
Dominique spots Florence shambling out of the forest.
Oh dear god. My love, you've come back.
Now it's time for Florence to roll her spot hidden.
As-
Hang on.
That was a pass, though.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a pass. Yeah.
You see Teve step back from the corpse, holding up the bloodied knife to the sun, smiling satisfied as he cleans it and slides it back into its sheath. And as he turns and waves at you and begins to return to the car, Dominique, you see something, a flicker of movement in the tree line of the swamp over Teve's shoulder. A tiny humanoid figure wearing an Indian headdress crouched
Don't even start, Liam.
behind, crouched behind the gnarled tree branches, and he watches for a second as Teve steps towards the front door of the car, and you see Dominique as this tiny figure raises something long and cylindrical to his mouth.
Oh no! Oh no!
Not again.
Fuck.
1 second. Dodge.
Teve, do some kind of sudden movement, please.
Whatever you do, Timmy bust.
Just shut
Well, I just yelled, Teve, dart.
Do you do it, Teve? Do you duck?
Yep.
No,
Go ahead.
No, I said dart. D-A-R-T.
Yeah, but he's just gonna duck.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
no. I'm going to, because I have the previous experience of this happening. The switch off goes off in my head, and I do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. Go ahead, roll me a dodge check.
That is 56, which is a pass.
You're not even sure what's happening. You just hear her shout, and that instinct kicks in. You hit the ground and roll out of the way as a long barbed needle hits the side of the car and clatters uselessly to the ground. And as you hear the sound of it hitting the car, you just see Edna's face go white. Oh, Teve, quick, get in the car, she says, and she begins to rev the engine.
Is anyone gonna make sure Blake's okay?
Yeah, where's Blake?
Yes, still like on all fours, throwing up, I think.
He
But-
just grabs him by the scruff of the neck, chucks him in the car, and gets in.
The engine roars and Edna slams her foot on the pedal, and with a screech and a jolt that feels like it's gonna throw you out of the car, the Rolls Royce speeds ahead. There's another ting as a second dart hits the back windshield and bounces off, leaving a hairline crack. And does anyone watch the figure in the trees as the car screams off?
Yes.
Yeah, Tave's like, oh, that's the little bastard that got Florence back in the town.
And as Teve says that, Dominique's head whips back and like death stares this thing.
You little shit.
Yeah. Dominique, go ahead and roll a sand check for me, please.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Oh. 5.
Oh yay.
5. That's a pass. However, it will still be a sand loss of 1d4. You can't see the thing's eyes. It's standing just enough beyond the tree line that it's mostly shrouded in shadow. You can make out the shape of its head, of its shoulders. The figure is about the size of the child, it's about the size of a child, but you stare into where its face would be. You stare daggers at it, convincing yourself that even though you can't see it, it can see you. It can see you and know exactly what you're thinking. And for a split second, it feels like it does meet you. It does gaze back as you feel a shiver run down your spine. And then the figure turns on the spot. But rather than descending deeper into the swamp, he simply slides under a bush, as if he's sinking into the very earth itself. And a second later, there is no sign he was ever there.
At this point, I feel like Blake would have nothing left to cover him. Just What happened? What did I just miss?
One of them buggers on the road, said Edna. One of the things we saw in the swamp, but why? She looks over at you, Teve. Thing tried to get you, or didn't seem like you had much trouble with it. So I'm wondering.
Tave's just muttering to himself, bloody zombies, bloody cultists,
Bloody tourists.
bloody shit.
Well, look, I don't like being out alone on this road, so we gotta pick it up, she says, and she leans over the wheel as the engine roars louder and Blake is once again jerked forwards as the car speeds off. Listen, says Edna, shouting over the din of the engine. Last time we saw those things, it was in the depths of the swamp and at bloody night. Broad daylight and they're stepping out onto the road. And the moment you get out to check and deal with it, that bugger tried to snipe you with one of them bloody darts.
Yes. So Blake is in his own thoughts trying to piece everything together. Why did they come out during the day? Can I roll a I had something in my head. Now it's gone. Oh yeah, that's right. Attempt a mythos check because each time
You sure can.
each time we've encountered them, it's been during the night, so it's a bit weird that we've seen them during the day.
You sure can, but I will correct you. She turns to Teve and she says, you and Florence, when you were investigating, when you were going to the coroner's office or whatever, you saw him back then too, didn't you? And they got Florence, and that was in broad daylight as well.
Yeah, but it was just a kid. It wasn't the bloody undead.
Yeah, and that was a 23. May I spend 3 luck points?
You sure can.
Excellent. So that's just a normal pass now.
So your mind flashes back to just a couple hours ago, back in the library. That excerpt from the occult book. The orbs that represent life energy. The fact that children's life energy appears to be the strongest. And that Mikote, the guardian of the world of the dead, pledged to protect the people who gave their lives to him. An unsettling idea coalesces in the back of your mind, Blake, but in order to fully tease it forth, you're going to have to accept some harsh truths about the universe. Are you willing to do that?
Oh no. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, roll me a sand check, please.
What was my... Okay, then is 49. That is a 27.
You hear Master Yig's voice in the back of your mind. Yes. Yes, I give you wisdom. I give you wisdom so that you may destroy the servants of mine enemies and restore for my people their rightful place. And forbidden knowledge flashes through your mind, Blake.
My nose
The
just starts
children.
bleeding.
The children with the darts. Your best guess, at least according to Yig's wisdom, is that they are the true servants of Mikote. They are most likely not children, nor are they human at all. You don't know what they are exactly. But as servants for Mikote, it seems to be their job to draw people to the suicide tree in the swamp, so that just like Angela Lawrence and just like Florence after her, they can take their lives and that life energy can be given over to Mikote. You recall that the passage said that this life energy is believed by some esoteric circles to be able to raise the dead. And suddenly one very terrifying sentence appears fully formed in your mind's eye, Blake. Mikote is stealing life energy to create an army.
Oh, dear God.
But why? The answers elude you. Blake, says Edna.
Wait.
Look like you're a bit...
Before
Go
we
ahead.
go on, didn't Yig say he was going to give me information how to stop them?
Yep, but that's all he's given you for now.
Oh, motherfucker.
Yig works in mysterious ways. He gave you the wisdom to understand some aspect of what is going on here, but there is no clear solution on how to stop it or why it's even happening. Blake, calls Edna, not taking her eyes off the road for a second. You all right back there? You've been a bit quiet.
I just snap out of it and notice my lip is a bit red. Just have a few drops of blood from out my nose. Yes, Edna, I'm fine. I was just thinking to myself.
Ah, good. Whatever it was, it distracted you well enough. Look, she points, and the car speeds by a lopsided wooden sign where you can just see the words Mashpee Township in faded lettering.
Oh,
Got here quicker
thank
than
God
we
we're
expected, eh?
thank God. Thank Christ.
You just hear Teve mutter under his breath, "Who names a town after fucking baby's food?" I do like that.
That's 1 point of sanity for Teve.
You breathe a deep sigh of relief as about 10 minutes later, the car starts to slow. The road narrows as it winds between two hills, and the swamp, mercifully, is behind you. The car continues rumbling up a narrow dirt trail, passing yet another sign, this one proclaiming that this is the land of the Wampanoag and that visitors are not welcome. And then she rounds one more corner and you finally see it, Mashpee Township. This small town is made up of a meeting hall, a grocery store, a tiny schoolhouse, and a few small houses stretching out from this makeshift town centre. Based on the number of buildings and the fact that the whole town seems to revolve around one long street, there are perhaps 300 or so people who live here. Based on the passers-by that the car slowly goes past, most of them seem to be of the Wampanoag tribe. They've all got that telltale olive hue to their skin, long black hair. Most of them seem to be dressed in typical working class clothes of the era. All of the buildings in the town seem to have seen better days. They need repairs and a fresh coat of paint. The car pulls to the side of the street and Edna kills the engine. She takes a look around and you all notice several of the locals have just stopped where they are and are watching you, their eyes narrowed as they try to pass judgment over these outsiders, these oppressors who've just wandered into their village. All right, says Edna. Locals don't look like they're too happy we're just rocking up, so I'll keep an eye on the car. You lot find this shaman and see if you can get some info from him. Right?
Yeah.
And if you find any place that's willing to serve us some food or drinks, I'd recommend hitting them up and making sure there's nothing you've left out of that feast. She says, nothing worse than turning up to present a feast and not bringing any condiments, you know what I mean?
All right, guys. Let's.
Tave goes, it's all right. I grabbed a little something extra. Pulls out a bag of peyote.
Oh my.
Oh, that's sure to go down a treat with the communal soup. All right, so I take what I can carry and slowly get out of the car, looking around my surroundings and sort of still mopping my head from the sweat from the long ass even though it was only a couple hours, it felt like an eternity to drive in the car with Edna.
Yeah, definitely. As you gather the supplies out of the boot and distribute them amongst yourselves, you're keenly aware that the locals are still silently watching, still silently judging. None of them offer to help, none of them lend a hand, they just watch you bundle all of these items into your arms, and then when the boot is finally emptied and slammed shut, you meet the eyes of one of the locals who shrugs, looks away, and then they all go about their business.
Friendly
Nary a word of greeting.
town we've got here.
Is the meeting hall more like the local government hub, or is it just like?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't look like there's anything you could identify as a meeting hall, Dominique. There's the general store and a little schoolhouse next to it. But then the rest of the buildings on the street just appear to be small, ramshackle homes for people to live in. You do notice that there's a large clearing with crude benches taking up a parcel of land across the street from the schoolhouse and the general store. Some sort of park or open area, and there are a few people gathered around one of the park benches here on the edge of this land, where you can see an incredibly ancient looking man wearing a headdress seated in silent council with another group of locals.
Dave just walks over and says, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, I guess we're heading to that clearing park.
Bloody Australians.
Teve calls out as you cross the road, step into the park. Instantly, you're aware of everyone's eyes on you. Every local in the vicinity, including the old man in the headdress, is staring daggers at you, eyes narrowed. There's a few seconds of tense silence, and then one of the men, a young man of about 19 or 20 with long flowing shoulder-length black hair and youthful features, steps forward, and he says, "Hey, you need something?"
Alright, this is all you, Teef.
We're putting on a feast for the town. Where do you want us to set up?
We ain't got much here in this town. If you ain't got it, we can't help you. You best move on. I'm sure there'll be some fine law-abiding white folks next town over.
I without saying anything, I present the box, a wooden box, I guess, of some of the stuff that we bought.
As you place the box down on the ground, a couple of the locals crane their necks, looking curious in spite of themselves at what's inside. But the young man crosses his arms, he steps forwards and he looks down at the box and he says, "What's this? Blankets with smallpox?"
I'm Australian. I wasn't part of that shit.
I'm sorry.
Dominica just ignores Teve and starts talking to this man and saying we're here to give a peace offering and hopefully make some friends.
"Peace offering," says the young man. "A peace offering? Oh, let me guess, you've come from Bridgewater, haven't you?"
Yes, we have.
Yeah. The monsters who drove our people from that land forced us to live here. And even now, when we dare venture onto land that was rightfully ours, even now they mock and spit and judge.
Again, Australian, not part of that shit.
I'm just a simple librarian. We're here to as my friend said, we're here to make a little peace offering.
Kind of peace offering, says a plain-faced woman who steps up, clasps a hand on the man's shoulder. I'm sorry. A lot of the younger generation here are very wary about outsiders. Please, show us what you've brought, and we will see.
I out of Tiv and Dominica, who else is carrying food?
I think you all are.
Team puts
Oh.
the food down and whips out a drum carousel and also a skull.
No.
No.
I just say to the woman that we've brought fresh food and produce from this season's bounty.
Blake and Florence, I'd like the two of you to make persuade checks, please.
Florence is dead.
Oh no, sorry, Dominique. I keep forgetting. I keep re-traumatizing her.
What am I making? Sorry.
Persuasion, and I don't
Persuade.
have persuade.
Or
Crap.
charm. You can make persuade or charm.
don't
Can I spend
Actually, before they do
18
that,
luck points?
Oh, hold on.
oh wow, that's a lot of luck points.
I used charm half my appearance, and my appearance is 30, and I got 12. So that
Okay.
Ooh.
that is a critical. No, sorry.
Yep.
Critical. Is it critical then extreme or extreme then critical?
I think it's just a normal critical. And Dominique?
Yeah, I got a 68, but my persuade is 50, so I wanted to use.
Oh, yeah. You
Luck.
want 18 luck if you feel like it. That will bring it to a pass for the two of you. I'm not making Teve roll because he crafted the thing before. And so they watch silently, curiously, as you slowly unpack most of the things. Teve places the spinner that he made beside a spread of all the food. You lay down a picnic towel on the floor to not dirty the food, and then place all of the little parcels out in a line so the people can see what you've brought. Most of them seem to be curiously amused. There's a couple towards the edge of the park that are looking on with looks of disgust or annoyance on their faces. Okay, says the young man as he kicks his toe at the bundles of food. He looks over his shoulder at the old man and he says, peppers, carrots. They got everything. They got everything they got everything that we would normally have for our spring harvest meal.
I thought it was summer.
Yes, it's spring, summer.
Oh, okay.
He seems genuinely impressed as he says it. They've brought everything for our summer feast. The old man nods. At last he rises from the park bench and he slowly wanders over, hunched. His back hunched, his left hand clasped at the base of it to keep him steady. Slowly shuffles over and his lips pursed examines each of the items. Finally, after nodding and grunting in acceptance of each of them, he comes to the last thing, the skull that Teve has laid down on the ground. He looks up at you, Teve, and he says, "What's this?"
Oh, something I picked up on the continent of Africa when I was traveling around. Thought it might make a nice gift. It's used to bring in the start of summer.
Go ahead, Teve. Give me a fast talk check.
Fast talk. Where's fast talk? Oh God. Really? Fast talk?
Yep.
Well, we're making shit up, so...
No. Steve has traveled through Africa and would have
Ah,
picked
well,
this
then...
up.
Then roll me an anthropology, or perhaps a hard natural world if you don't have anthropology.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go hard natural world because at least that's 25 and fast talk's 5. Okay. Well, that's. I'm gonna spend 3 luck because that's a 28.
The old man scoffs. Now this is an insult. You seem to think we're savages. Why would you come here with all of these things as if you're trying to bribe us? As if we're zoo animals or entertainers that you just pay. He sighs. But he listens to you, Teve, as you awkwardly explain that this skull isn't just a random item, that this was something that at one point belonged to a tribe that had great religious significance. He frowns. So you come to us and present as a peace offering the spoils that you looted from another innocent native tribe just trying to live their lives.
No, I lived with that tribe for 3 months and they gave this to me as a parting gift.
Parting gift, he says. He considers this, looks over his shoulder at the others gathered there, and the young man instantly arcs up, and he says, well, I don't think we should take it. We've taken enough of them. They took our lands, they took our dignity, and now we have to suffer this indignity too? The old man shakes his head, raises a hand, signifying silence, and then ushers the people away. They grumble for a minute, but it's clear to you that this man commands immense respect. Within seconds, the rest of the people have dispersed. You look over your shoulders towards the street, and this man commands so much respect that there is nobody even lingering on the side of the road listening. You are suddenly and completely, utterly alone with this man. He takes a moment to size each of you up, looking you up and down, kicks at some of your peace offerings with his toe. Then he clears his throat and spits at Teve's feet. Yep, okay. Well, he at least made an effort, I suppose. You must have figured out about our summer harvest feast. You must have figured out what we like, and well, you didn't just turn up here and start running your mouth, so I'd say that's bought you a few minutes. He jabs a thumb at his chest. I'm Black Feather. I'm the shaman of this village, the last of a line of shamans that kept the old ways of the Wampanoag. I have a feeling I know what you're here about, but I'll let you explain it to me. Go ahead, but be careful what you say. At this he meets your eyes. This is not your place. This is our place, and you are allowed to be here only as long as we tolerate you being here.
Oh. Okay. Hold on, just look over quickly, unless someone else comes up with a fun little plan. Because we want to get information from them, but do it so we don't insult them.
It also occurs to you that without knowing their allegiances, it might not be a good idea to reveal to him that you're looking for a way to stop Mikote.
Yes.
But you can if you want. It does seem the most direct way to get him to help you, after all.
And if anything, Teve's pretty direct. Hey mate, have you ever heard of Mikote?
Oh my god.
The man's mouth falls open and he clasps a hand to it. He looks over, he looks around, his eyes wide, furiously scanning to make sure there is absolutely no one in earshot. And then he barks, "Lower your voice, boy." He leans in and he says, "Mikote, we do not speak of Mikote. But I know that Mikote is active in the swamp, and I know Mikote honors his deals, and I know that Mikote intends to make good on the promise he made to my people all those years ago. So
and what
tell me, what is it that you would have me do?"
what deal would that be that you made with him?
He looks at you, and his face is suddenly very tired, very worn. Sadness seems to take over him as he lets out a deep sigh. "Well, you know how the white man ran us off our land, forced us to live here. They killed us, they enslaved us, they stole from us. And when we were forced to leave, some of our people begged Mikote, called out to Mikote to help. They mistakenly believed that Mikote was the spirit of the swamp, the spirit of nature that governs each of our lives, but it has always been known among the shamans that Mikote is..." He pauses. "It has always been known to us that Mikote is no god, but is something else entirely. So these people of the Wampanoag sacrificed themselves to Mikote to lay a curse on the Hakamak. A curse that would eventually see those who had run us out of our land driven away, killed, each man to a man, until all they did to us was avenged. Now I know that the spirits living in the swamp still think they are fighting this war, as Mikote orders them to wage war on the people who drove them away."
Would just out of character, would that he be talking about like the children but not children?
He might be.
Oh, all right. I look to the others and like wanting to get an improving or disapproving nod about mentioning the. Well, I'm the only. Wait, I know. Do we know that like does everyone know that they're not children, or is that just me?
I think you know that they're most likely not human. Everyone else has seen them. It's up to them if they think that's human or not.
Oh, okay.
Dave just says, "Do you know anything about those little kids that keep on blow darting us?"
Blake and Dominique are just standing there like a gasp that he's just being upfront with all of this.
What's the
Black
point
Feather.
what's the point of pussyfooting about it?
Well, we did
Black
lose
Feather.
2 companions.
Yeah, but you gotta realize that this is Teve.
Black Feather frowns. "The children? What children? Have you seen children in the swamp?"
Yeah, they wear headdresses quite like yours.
He frowns even more. "Go ahead and make a psychology roll for me, Teve."
Psychology? Why
Yep.
would Teve have psychology?
Well, I mean, everyone can make one if they want.
Come on, let's go 10.
Well, that's an 82, so that's definitely not a pass.
What about Dominique and Blake?
I got a 61, so not pass.
Okay, let's try. Okay, who's ready to love me? That was a
Just
5.
roll like a 5.
Fantastic.
5 exactly.
He folds his arms and he folds his arms and the frown on his face disappears, replaced with a forced smile, and he says, Mikote works in mysterious ways and has many servants, and that is all that I know. But it is obvious to you, Blake, how quickly his demeanor shifted, that he does know, that he knows exactly what Teve is talking about.
Well, we only want to know because we have lost 2 companions to this. Now, I know that your people are very angry at the white man, but I just want to know that was wait, how long ago was this?
Only a couple weeks.
Oh,
Wait,
well,
what?
shit.
In game, not for you mean when they were driven out? No, that was
Yes.
a long time ago. I thought you were talking about losing the companion.
Yeah, it was only a couple weeks.
Yeah, no.
No wonder they're fucking pissed.
Jeez, it's only been 2 weeks. Can't they let this shit go?
Yeah, no. It was a long time ago.
Blake just wants to reiterate that they had nothing to do with it, and it was a long time ago. Our ancestors were, to put it bluntly,
Everyone who's involved is dead,
well, that too.
basically.
Look, okay, you're being direct. I'm trying to smooth everything and butter them up, if you will.
Stony-faced, Blackfeather looks at you and he says, "Who have you lost? Tell me about them."
I look at Dominica and I just look back to, I'm sorry, Blackfeather, was it?
Yeah, Blackfeather.
I almost said something completely different, and that would have got me demonetized. I look at Blackfeather. We lost 2 companions. One of them was hung by a tree. The other one was shot in the neck by one of the children and was sister to this lovely lady over here.
I mean, technically we lost 3, but the other one kind of did herself in.
Wait, we did?
For the first, yeah, Violet.
Oh,
technically.
that's who I was talking about. The one who got.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we lost Florence and Violet got done by a tree.
Do you mention Angela Lawrence as well?
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I completely
The
spaced
little
on
girl?
that. Yes, I completely spaced on that.
Make me a persuade check, please, Blake.
Oh shit. That's a 43. I'm not gonna push it.
You're not going to push it?
No, actually, okay. Guys, what do you think? Should I try to push this?
Do whatever you want.
No, we're not gonna push it.
He frowns, but his face seems to soften ever so slightly. He reaches up and his thumb touches the tip of the black feather that rests in his headband. And then he looks over at Dominique, and with genuine sadness on his face, Dominique, he says, "You poor child. Your sister lost her life to Mikote.
Yes.
Go ahead."
No, I thought you were waiting for me to reply.
I was, yes.
Yes, unfortunately, she was hit with one of the children's darts and succumbed to the fate of the poison.
Wait, did she?
Uh,
I thought she was killed by a zombie.
But she probably would have tried to kill herself the next night if no one stopped her, if she did survive. I was planning to have her wake up and she's sleepwalking to the tree.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like the other children.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like the girl. He reaches out, Dominique, to clasp a hand on your shoulder. Do you let him?
Yes.
You feel his grip very tight. It feels like his fingers are digging into your shoulder blade. He meets your eyes, and with a look of resolve, he says, "We will bring your sister's soul to rest. I am sure not even our ancestors would wish for such a terrible fate, even among the white people, especially when there are," he sighs, hangs his head, "when young children and women have lost their lives. I knew that one day this day would come. Our people have turned away from Mikote, but there were those of us who tried to make peace with the white people, those of us who cast aside their Wampanoag heritage and instead laid with the white people, bred with them, turned their blood white too. One such family lives in Bridgewater today, and it is, I suspect, they who serve Mikote."
And what
He
family is this?
He says, shakes his head. "Our records do not keep track of them. I cannot tell you. But something caused this curse to activate. Something caused that child to go to the Solitude Stone. That is the symbol of our people. That is a monument to our dead, and caused the spirits to awaken. But that is not for this time," he says. "These are questions to be answered another time. Now, we must ensure that Mikote is put back to rest so that no more innocent lives may be lost."
This war has been going on for too long.
He nods. "I will help you, but on one condition." He gestures at the schoolhouse across the road, this ramshackle building. The paint is peeling, there's cracks in the window panes. The schoolhouse could do with a renovation.
I just look at Teve and his callous hands going, I think we got the right man for this job.
Steve just reaches into his wallet and pulls out some money. Here you go.
Steve, what's your credit rating?
50. Wait.
50? Yeah, 50.
Yeah, 50.
Oh, I thought you meant
So-
to actually physically rebuild it himself.
Teve's rich as shit. He owns a zoo.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
He's doing that shit.
You hand him a $100 note, and you hand him on a $100 note, and he doesn't do anything, so you hand him another one, and the same thing happens. Eventually, you end up giving him $400, and it's at this point that he takes the 4 notes, folds them up, and slides them into the pocket of his trousers. And then he smiles. "Good. I think that will make sure the roof holds for another few seasons."
If you
Now.
need anyone to teach while we're here, I'm pretty good.
Teve just subtly brings out the bag of peyote. Here's for the next fire.
He just takes it, and he's not quite sure what to say, and he looks over at Blake, and he says, I'm sure you're a good teacher, but the people of this village, well, I'm sure they would not take kindly to a white man teaching our children. Our culture has already been stripped from us enough as it is, but I will say I appreciate the sentiment. It's clear to me that you are here not to cause trouble or to mock. You are here to put right a very egregious wrong, and that is the only reason I am helping you.
All right. As a sign of good faith, I rumble through my bag and I'm just doing this because Blake knows all this. I hand him an advanced mathematics textbook.
He takes it and he looks through this college-level textbook. He shakes his head and he says, I think somebody will find a use for this. Follow me. He says, "We must go to my home. I have things there, and I will explain what must be done. We will share a meal together."
Sounds good. Sounds good.
He leads you out of the park back onto the main street, and it's now when finally all of the people of Mashpee emerge, stepping out of their houses and businesses. They silently watch as you pass by, but this time they excitedly talk among themselves. Someone flashes you a smile and waves at you. "Ah, I see they have taken to you now that I have taken to you. See, we are not as unfriendly as people say," says Blackfeather. Finally, you come to the house at the very end of the street. A house that, despite Blackfeather's status as the shaman, seems to be smaller and more ramshackle than all the others. He doesn't unlock the door. He just reaches out, turns the knob, and the door creaks open. He steps over the threshold, beckons for you to join him, and then pulls the door shut. The inside of the house is nothing much to look at. It's a single room. His bed, his table, his chairs, all of his worldly possessions and furniture are crammed into this tiny space. There's just enough room for you to move around the table between the bed and the little kitchenette, and the walls are decorated in a variety of tapestries and totem poles and headdresses. Does anyone have anthropology or occult?
I have both.
So, as you're brought into the house, Dominique, you take a look at all these decorations and you immediately recognize them as symbols of fertility to support a good harvest, but there are a couple mixed in there that, concerningly, at least to you, seem to serve one purpose only, and that is to ward off evil spirits. Blackfeather takes a seat. Blackfeather takes a seat down at the ramshackle table. "So, you wish to stop Mikote? Well, I will tell you now that is impossible. Something that is not alive cannot be killed. However, we can send it back where it came from, and we can ensure that it never emerges in the swamp again."
And how exactly would we do that?
"We will require a ritual," says Blackfeather. "A ritual passed down from shaman to shaman. The first thing a shaman of the Wampanoag learns as a boy. It is the prayer to Mikote, to pray for the safe passage of the dead. It also allows us to call Mikote to us so that we may appeal to him in person. The ritual also allows us, once that appeal has been made, to send Mikote back to the world of the dead, which should, I believe, sever his connection to this plane and destroy all that he has wrought, at least for now. There is every chance in the distant future that Mikote may crawl his way once more again through that barrier into this world, that he may once again turn his attentions to the people of Bridgewater, but we can expunge him, and that will have to do for now. But the ritual will take time," he says. "It must be prepared. The ritual hymn must be sung, and then the chant chanted, and then finally I must make an offering. Needless to say, all of this will take some time, and as I understand it, if Mikote is currently active, then his servants will be there and will not be willing to let me perform the ritual without a fight."
And is there anything that we could do to arm ourselves if he was summoned here?
You have faced Mikote's army before, have you not? You know better than me the best way to keep them at bay. But he thinks for a moment. He points towards a wooden trunk at the foot of his bed just behind you, Blake. There was, once upon a time, an anthropologist, a historian, who sought to study my people. He compiled many works and much knowledge of our practices and the practices of other Indian tribes. Because we assisted him in his research, he was kind enough before he passed to give us copies of all his notes. They've been in my care ever since. I've had no need for them, but if there's something in there that might help, you can feel free to sort through them. Either way, it'll take me about an hour to procure the necessary ingredients for the ritual. Go ahead, Dominique.
I would love to take a look at that text.
Yeah, Blake's eyes just light up. He does his best to have a stoic composure, but he's just like, yeah.
Steve's just muttering to himself, need more traps. Need bigger traps. Better traps. More traps.
All these squares make a
Traps.
circle.
Didn't have enough traps last time. Gonna make more traps.
Actually, no. Yeah, we would be able to make more traps because we're sort of well, even if it's a shanty town, there'll be access to better materials.
Blackfeather nods and he says, if there's one thing my people are good at, it is making traps and snares. You should find everything you need at the general store if you do need supplies. Tell them I sent you. If you're particularly friendly, Johnson over in the general store might teach you how to tie a snare or two as well.
Steve chuckles. Don't worry too much, mate. I've been making snares most of my life.
An accomplished woodsman. Well then, come. I'll go to the general store with you. I need to procure some things for the ritual, and you two, he looks over at Dominique and Blake, and he reaches into one of his pockets and pulls out a scruffy iron key. Here, sort through the anthropologist's notes. Hopefully you'll find something I've neglected to mention. There is much lore about Mikote, much of it forbidden even to a shaman such as me. When I have returned with your friend Teve, and he has completed his preparations, we will embark once more into the swamp. And then he and Teve step out into the street, and the door shuts, and the two of you are left to your own devices.
Oh, Dominica, this is like being a kid in some kind of store. I unlocked the chest and I looked to Dominica. I think we should divide these in half and study as much as we can.
Sounds like a plan to me.
The trunk creaks open, and inside there are piles upon piles of loose-leaf paper scrawled with handwritten notes. None of it's compiled into a book. These are all loose research notes that have never been published, and there is enough pages that there's no space to fit anything else in the trunk. It takes you about 15 minutes just to get everything out of the trunk, divided in two, and get started. But once you get going, the process is pretty quick. It's easy at a glance to see who or what is written his notes about. So let's see how much you do manage to glean before the others come back. I'd like the two of you to make library use checks for me, please.
Yeah. That is a hard...
32.
That's a hard success of 25.
I'm good.
Good. It doesn't take as long as you anticipated. It seems that his notes about the Woampanoag were some of his most recent notes, so they're near the top of one of the piles. You discard everything else, putting it back in the trunk, and linger over this handful of papers, and there's lots of information here about the Wampanoag religion and all of their festivals and cultural practices, even recipes for traditional foods and drinks. You probably don't have time to look through all of the notes in detail, but you should be able to find something that would help you stop Mikote. So I'll let each of you choose one thing you would like to know.
Oh shit.
I would like to know what if we can find an edge on defending ourselves against any of the weapons that they use, like the poison dart, etc.
Good idea. And what about you, Blake? Would you like to do the same thing, but for Mikote itself, or is there something else you'd like to look up?
Yeah, probably, because, Blackfeather said he, wanted to do a ritual to summon him into, I guess, our mortal plane.
So that he can be banished, yeah.
Yes, I'd like to research if there's any way to make a trap for him so he doesn't try to escape.
Good. Okay, Blake, I'd like you to make me either a anthropology or occult check, and Dominique, I'd like you to make an occult check, please.
Oh crap! This is gonna be. I don't have either.
An 11. Let's go.
Blake, what's your Cthulhu mythos skill?
My mythos is 20. My occult,
20? Okay, it's above 10, so I will let you add your mythos skill to your occult.
Alright, let's go. Okay.
You already have an idea what you're dealing with.
That is a 23. So with the occult, I just barely pass.
You're rifling through the papers, reading them crouched together in the dim light of this tiny wooden shack. And yet, despite the lackluster surroundings, the information contained within these notes is something that you immediately know might save your life. So, Dominique, how to defend yourself against the weapons, against the darts. So this text doesn't directly describe the childlike creatures or their poison or anything like that. It doesn't describe anything overtly supernatural, but in a portion of the notes, the author does describe a ritual that the shaman would perform where he imbibes certain herbs and chemicals to change his state of consciousness and confer with the spirits. And based on your sister's notes, the composition of this chemical that the shaman imbibes is remarkably similar to the chemical compounds contained within the darts. On the opposite page, there's an antidote described that the shaman would take at the end of the ritual to reverse the effect and once more close their inner eye to the world of the spiritual. And the antidote is incredibly simple. There's a diagram of a native flower that a quick peek out of the window shows you grows in great clumps just along the side of the street. According to the notes, crushing this flower up into a powder and drinking it will reverse the effects of the poison. Meanwhile, Blake, you get stuck right into Mikote, pouring through these notes, and these notes are written feverishly, as if they were being scrawled down at a rapid pace, as if the author was afraid they were running out of time and that it was incredibly important to get this down, to preserve this knowledge somewhere for whoever may need it. It states that in the author's own opinion, in his own investigations, that Mikote is no god nor spirit. Rather, Mikote is a survivor of the race which came before a man. the survivor of a servant race who upheld the empire that existed before humans. This empire is not described, nor is the time before humans. And it's clear to you that the author knows more than he's written down. But he states that if Mikote is what he suspects it is, then it chose to make the swamp its home, for it has a deadly fear of the light.
Oh,
And that's what you glean.
fear of the light.
Blinded by the light.
Wrapped up like a douche.
Is the ritual that the shaman performs, before drinking the antidote, significant?
No, it doesn't seem so. It seems that the antidote just exists to reverse the effects of the thing that's drunk.
Okay.
So,
Teve...
sorry, before you go on. So,
yep.
in short, he's afraid of the light?
That's what it seems to imply. However, the author makes a note that he suspects, given what he believes Mikote to be, that the light would not be a means of destroying him outright, but may, by a precious few seconds.
Oh, sort of like incapacitate him. Okay.
After all, the notes specify what can truly kill that which is not alive.
Yeah.
So Teve, you're over in the general store, or what passes for a general store. It's basically indistinguishable from Blackfeather's house, except for a swinging wooden board out the front that reads general store, and the fact that the inside of the house, every inch of space is taken up by shelves and crates and boxes stacked almost roof high.
Dave's like, get to the candy store, grabs everything he needs.
Blackfeather nods and says, I'll leave you to it. Johnson, please, I'd like to visit the apothecary. The man behind the counter waves him over, and the two disappear into the back room, leaving you to do your own thing and do what you do best. So, there are enough supplies here, Teve, that you should be able to make almost any trap you wanted. The main limiting factor will be how efficiently you could use these supplies, and that will depend on your role.
Take it I'm rolling bushcraft.
Absolutely. Or survival.
Yeah, bushcraft is better. I keep dumping points into that thing.
It's a good all-purpose skill.
That is a 7. That's an extreme.
Oh, damn.
Alright, Teve. After taking stock of what they actually have to offer, you believe you can probably make 3 different kinds of traps. So it's up to you what kinds of traps you'd like to make, though.
Okay, well. I think definitely snares. Like, they really helped out last time. So snares, I'd say, like, similar to bear traps to, limit movement. What's a good third one? Ideas?
Yeah, what does anyone else think?
Can I run over to the general store and...
Well, you can just, before he left, you could have told him, like, what to get, so...
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah, can I follow? Because, I have some ideas, so I want to go to the store, too.
Alright.
Yeah, like, I want to tell him about the antidote of the poison, because he's the one that's gonna make it. He makes good tea.
Ah, yes, good idea.
Yeah.
So while Teve's in the process of, like, tying ropes and stuff together, eventually Blake and Dominique step into the crowded general store. It's very cramped now with all of you in there, and excitedly tell you what they've just gleaned from the notes.
Light traps.
So I want to share my knowledge with Teve because he's a good trap maker. I let him know of what I read, and my idea is if
Light traps.
if Blackfeather summons me Cortair, I have an idea of setting unlit fires around in a giant circle enough so he doesn't see, and we trap them. We rig them so we can light them all one after the other, like pour some petrol lighter fluid from one point, then it spreads around all the fires, and so they light one after the other.
Are we able to make like a shock grenade, like a shock light grenade in this era?
Probably not with the stuff here in this general store, but I'm sure someone's invented something like that.
I mean, so long as they have magnesium.
Get Nikola
Yeah,
Tesla on
but
the
I-
phone.
But I doubt you're going to find magnesium here is the thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm just going to rig up some light traps.
Yeah, like Liam said. So I'll give you a choice here. You can make the snares and the light traps, but the light traps will cover a much smaller area. But if you forgo making the snares, you can make light traps to like cover a much wider area. So I'll give you that choice.
Well, I've already made the snares while they were coming over, haven't I?
Yeah, okay, so you're just
Yeah.
gonna make the small light trap.
Yeah.
You work out with Blake a way to get this to actually work, and somehow you're able to find all of the things you need. And then, with the traps made, you shuffle towards the entrance of the store just as the back door opens and Blackfeather comes in. He's now hauling over his shoulder a leather sack, and there's a strange fruity smell wafting from it. Are you ready? He says.
Yeah,
I have all I need.
Tave ducks outside, grabs a bunch of the flowers, and chucks them in his belly.
Ah, I see you've learned of the healing properties of that flower. Good idea. Are you ready? I hope you've made your peace with everything in your lives, because if tonight does not go how we intended to go, neither of us will be returning.
Oh, Oh, we're going into the swamp, correct?
Yep.
We need some torches. Like I'm assuming they would have flashlights.
Yeah, I'd say you've already... If you know you're going into the swamp, so you would have
Okay.
bought torches, I would say.
Oh, and
You will need...
any gun, Crystal says.
Any gun? Well, the Mashpee Township doesn't typically have all of the things you could expect to find in a town like Bridgewater, but when you mention to Blackfeather that you've been in the swamp and you know how to defend, that this group has been in the swamp and that they know how to defend themselves, he leans over the counter, whispers something in the shopkeeper's ear, and then the shopkeeper fishes a small wooden box out from under the counter and he slides it to you, Dominique. And when you flip it open, there is a 32 police special sitting
damn.
inside with a handful of rounds, at least 6 rounds and some spare.
Actually,
Nice.
that reminds me. Can I get can I, while we're setting up, tie my knife to a stick?
Yeah, no roll needed for that.
I still have my gun from the last time.
Grab a string, and make a makeshift spear. Well, I see you
so
don't...
Is that
see-
a handgun? I don't really
Yes,
know guns,
I will.
sorry.
That will be a light handgun. It deals 1d8 damage.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I see you don't do things with half measures, says Blackfeather, nodding with approval as he sees you gearing up. The man behind the counter nods, and he says, "Okay, that'll be..." He counts. It counts silently, pointing at all the objects. "That'll be, $220. Who's gonna pay?"
We
Dave
all
just pulls out his
Um,
wallet.
we all just look
You've
at
bought...
I was
You've bought...
gonna say, Steve, do you want me to help you pay? My credit rating is 54, so I can help a little.
You can if you want. I don't. Not that fast.
Do you pull out the money, Dominique, and slide it onto
Yeah.
the counter for his a chance to?
Yeah.
The shopkeeper
Oh
nods.
my
He doesn't
God.
say thank you or anything. He just silently sweeps the bundle of cash off the counter. Go ahead, Liam.
For all those that want to know, $200 in 1920 is worth $3,197.99 today.
Yes. Yep. Just to put in perspective, you purchased several jerry cans of petrol, a whole bunch of like ropes and snares and hunting equipment, a gun with ammo, torches, ropes, first aid kits.
And Teve, you gave Blackfeather $400, so Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean,
But fine.
I kind of think the prices are maybe a little bit off, considering
Yes.
what things were paid for back then. But
I would say that Teve and Florence, since you both have credit ratings that are fairly high, you would be well aware
Florence
that
is dead.
yeah, Dominique. This will be the last time. You are both aware that the prices do seem to be jacked up a fair bit. It's up to you whether you'd like to address that or if you're fine with it.
I wouldn't push it.
I'm fine with it. Yeah. We're all good.
Blackfeather claps his hands together. Okay, I think we have everything we need. He peers out the window, and outside you can see it's already starting to get dark. The sun has slid beyond the horizon, and the sky is bright orange. It'll be dark within the hour. If we're going to leave, we should go now.
I think Edna should head back to the car.
Oh, she's been in the car the entire time.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
just
right,
been
yeah.
waiting. Well, I'm sure in between like all the shopping and making traps and stuff, one of you probably stopped in to tell her what was happening. But you pay her a quick visit now and tell her you're heading into the swamp, and she just nods and wishes you good luck.
I'm not
And
good
she
at getting my
says-
dress dirty again.
And she says, "Just remember, I'm not going to be there to save you this time, but when you get out, I will be ready to take you home."
Yeah.
And then she looks over at Dominique and she reaches out a hand to you, Dominique. Do you take it?
Yeah.
She clasps your hand and she looks into your eyes and she says, "Do this for Florence."
Aww.
Aww. Of course, Dominique says.
Well, I'll be waiting when you need a ride back. I'm sure they have a telephone somewhere in this town. I'll try and contact the doctor back in Bridgewater and see if he has anything we missed. Check in with him. And then she sighs and trails off, and Blackfeather motions for you impatiently to follow. He leads you off the main street, past a row of houses, and trudges you down a narrow dirt track that leads towards the tree line of the swamp, not far out of town. By the time you've hiked over a patch of land and you're standing before the edge of the swamp, darkness has already set in. The sky above is deep purple, and the trees cast long, twisted shadows. Teve and Blake, as you realize you're about to return to the swamp once more, you feel a prickle of trepidation. And Dominique, as you, for the very first time, lay eyes upon the swamp where your sister died, as the group approaches the tree line and as that feeling, that thick, oppressive air compresses around you, and you recognize the unmistakable feeling that something is watching from the darkness beyond, waiting for you. What do you think? Do you think or say anything? You're just starting to scratch the surface of what your sister.
She's just quickly gone to the toilet.
That's all good. We'll just say she's silent, looking on to the tree line.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Black Feather takes a moment to stop, clasp his hands together, bows his head, makes a small chant, and then takes a breath. Into the swamp. Come on. And he pushes through the gnarled branches into the darkness. He seems to know where he's going once you're in the swamp. He presses ahead of you, but not too far ahead that you lose sight of him. His thick, heavy-set frame always visible beyond the twisted branches and vines, his footsteps always audible as he trudges through puddles and knee-high grass and twigs snap underfoot. Do you trust him to lead you to where you need to go?
I want to say that all of us have, well, at least one of us has a torch on him, and the rest have the torches, just in front of him. So we.
Anyone have a weapon? Anyone have a weapon drawn?
Oh, yeah, I'll have my. What type of handgun do I have? Oh, no, I have. Oh, it just says.
Okay.
You have the same kind as her. One light handgun, one D8.
Okay, yeah, I'll have that drawn, and my finger on
makeshift spear.
I won't have it cocked, but I'll just have my thumb on the hammer ready to go, just in case, something happens.
Yep.
I miss a roll, I trip, the gun goes off.
And Teve, are you preparing any particular item or action for an emergency?
Well, I've got the knife on a stick ready.
Knife on a stick ready. And Dominique, seeing that Blake has unsheathed his pistol and holds it ready, do you ready your own?
Yes.
Did I give Dominique my pocket watch? I can't remember.
Yes.
You did, yes.
Okay, I look at Dominique and Blake just goes, keep that pocket watch handy. Keep it on you at all times, please.
There's a loud...
Give him a nod.
You've got it. Perhaps not wearing it around your neck, but you've got it on your person. She draws her gun out, and there's a click as she checks the safety and the hammer, and you press onwards. Blake and Dominique, you each have in one hand a torch, in the other hand your weapon. Teve, you're bringing up the rear, using the others holding the torches to light your way ahead of you. You've got your spear in both hands ready to thrust, and the trap slung over your shoulder that you're dragging behind. And so this goes on uneventful for quite a while. It feels like you've been in the swamp for hours, just silent walking, trudging through the grass and the branches and the sludge. Black Feather never talks, never stops to say anything, never even makes so much as a cough. He moves with purpose, silently heading towards Mikote, always. And the rest of you do not break the silence. You think you'd be used to the swamp by now, Blake and Teve, but after being in the swamp for a short while, you're beginning to remember that ominous sense of always being watched, of something waiting to jump out at any moment, and you're all too aware of what happened to Florence last time you were here. Eventually, the woods of the swamp thin to reveal a small pond in a clearing. Its calm, still surface reflects the surrounding trees, and for a brief time the area radiates a feeling of peacefulness and serenity. Then the birds and the sounds of the swamp fade away, and an uneasy quiet engulfs the area. A faint light emanates from beneath the water, casting the clearing in a subtle blue glow. Not a single beam of moonlight pierces the thick tree canopy above. "We are here," announces Blackfeather. Immediately hoists the sack off his shoulder and dumps it at his feet. He kneels down and begins to rifle through it, laying out various herbs and ritual components about him, getting a piece of flint out of his pocket and using it to dig a crude circle into the hard earth. "It will take a few minutes for me to prepare. And once I have prepared, I will begin. Now we must decide what will be done, for once I begin, it will all happen very fast, and if we do not have a solid plan, we will die." He says, "Once I begin, I must devote myself in whole to the chanting and the performing of the ritual. Your job will be to make sure that nothing is able to interfere. For if I stop chanting at any moment, I will have to start again from the beginning. Do you understand?"
Yes. So I think that we should set up the traps and whatnot before he begins.
"I agree.
Actually-
You have a few minutes while I prepare. Oh, and if any of you have an open mind towards the spiritual, you may assist in the ritual. It may cause it to go quicker, but like me, you'll have to devote yourself entirely to the practice of the ritual."
Do you want him to go
Steve
quicker?
just sort of looks at Blake and he's like, "You're not going to be much help in a fight, mate."
No, I won't. So, yeah, Blake will help Steve with the instructions that yeah, Blake drew out diagrams of how he wants the trap set out, and then he'll help Blackfeather with the ritual.
As you kneel down beside Blackfeather and help him etch markings onto the circle and arrange all the components, he looks at you, his gaze lingers on your face for a moment, and then he frowns and he says, "I can sense within you the power of the spirits."
Yeah, you could say that.
You just hear Ted, "Yeah, he's a snake worshiper."
"Let us hope that they are good spirits. Good spirits that will not let us die this night." He hands you something, Blake. Presses it without warning into the palm of your hand, what appears to be a shard of rock with some strange symbol carved into it. It appears to be just a shard of rock, but as you hold it in the palm of your hand, Blake, you can feel something inside it, almost like static electricity emanating from this chunk of rock.
Oh, what's the symbol? Can I make it out?
You can make it out. You can make a Cthulhu Mythos check if you like.
Right.
Or you can make an occult check. It's up to you.
Well, my occult's 1, Mythos is at 20, so that is. Oh, I'm not spending luck points for that. Can I just feel around to see if it roughly feels like the same symbol that's on the pocket watch?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
It is not the same symbol, but as you trace your thumbs over it, it almost feels like there's something tingling in the tip of your thumb as it traces the symbol. And you get the sense, much like when Master Yig gives you wisdom, you get the sense that there is something within this rock, and it has sensed that there is something in you, and it's trying to bridge the gap. But it's up to you whether you'll let it.
Um,
Do it. Do it. Do it. Unlimited power.
Yeah, yep. Well, we've gone this far. I'll channel into the power.
You feel something warm flow up your arm. It seems to settle in the middle of your chest. You can feel your heart beating, and then you hear Yig's voice. It is a vessel for the power to destroy our enemies.
Oh.
I can act through this vessel and bolster the power. I will aid you against the enemy, Mikote, but you must let a piece of me into you. You must give yourself to me.
When he says age me, like, are we talking about like the Last Crusade type aging?
Aid.
Oh, AIDS.
No, I mean aid,
Oh,
not age.
It sounded like
Yep.
age. I'm sorry.
Aid.
Well, he's been in me before. Shut up. I'm a snake. Such a slippery snake.
Slippery and wet like a. Better not finish that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of would have to agree with Yig anyway, because I am his servant after all.
You are his servant.
So it would be very bad if I said no.
Yes, master.
You don't even have to speak your assent. As soon as you feel it, he knows. And a tiny fraction of the god that is Yig inhabits your body for a second, floods your being with power. You feel it surging from your body into the stone, and you know that while you hold this stone, while Yig is within you, you are capable of unimaginable feats. You can see them. You can see the energy flowing from the stone. You look around and you can see the air around you like fluorescent sparkling mist. You can see the latent magical energy in the air. And you instinctually seem to know how to use it. But while Yig is inhabiting you, your connection to reality is severed. And so, for allowing Yig to inhabit you, I would like you to reduce your sanity by
yes.
1d8.
1d8. Okay. If I happen to roll an 8, would that be temporarily insane, or is it just I'm just reducing it?
You're just reducing it. You can't go temporarily insane from this.
Okay. Oh shit, that's a 7. Fuck.
For a split second, you realize that all this around you, this is nothing. These people will die and be forgotten. This swamp will disappear. That in the grand scheme of the cosmos, everything is temporary. You shudder as you pull the warm power around you like a cloak. And for the rest of this session, any power check you may make with advantage.
Oh.
As you've been given a boost to your powers temporarily.
Is this just general power, or if I make a spell? No, the only spell I have is contact Yig.
It is any power check. So in the assistance of the ritual, yep. Any power check.
Okay. Nice.
Here, take this, says Blackfeather, handing you a long twig. Start drawing triangles on that side of the circle. Thank you.
All these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle.
Meanwhile, Tave, what are you doing? How are you setting up these traps?
I'm setting them up in a logical way that provides maximum trappability.
All right, so you are You are in a small, roughly circular shaped clearing, so there are 4 rough directions from which the enemy may emerge. With 3 snares, you're able to secure 3 of those sides, and with the light trap, you can secure the inner circle where the ritual is being performed, so that if anything gets past the snares, as soon as it reaches the perimeter where it's too close, you can set that trap off. Is that how you'd like to set it up?
Yeah. Did I still have the bear traps?
Yeah, you still got them.
Okay. So, I how many bear traps were I allowed?
I'd say you have let me roll a dice. I'd say you have 2 left currently.
Okay, so I'll chuck them out at different edges, so it's more like covers more area.
Yep,
How
so
many
you're gonna
entrances would you say there is? Sorry.
So I'd say there's 4, and with your snares, and if you use the bear traps with them, you can pretty much lock down 3 of those entrances, leaving just the 4th.
Cool.
Mm.
And while I'm at it, can I run a string around um the like just before the traps? Run a string around with a little like bell.
Yep. Go ahead and roll me a bushcraft to see if you can get this strung up in time.
So 28 is half pass.
Definitely. So while the ritual's being prepared, Tave disappears into the darkness. You're vaguely aware of him shuffling around just beyond the tree line as he stretches a long series of ropes around the perimeter of the clearing, sets up his snares, and about 20 minutes later he steps out, brushing his hands together, and he says, Yep, she's right now. Leaving just the one entrance, the tree line to the east, unsecured. Dominica, what are you planning to do while all this is going on?
I have no idea.
You can also assist in the ritual if you like, or you can assist in keeping the enemies away.
Yeah, I think my best bet would be assisting in the ritual.
Yep, and you do have the gun, I suppose. If something comes close, you could try to shoot it, but if you do, then you won't be helping with the ritual anymore. So you're going to help with the ritual for now, and if something gets close enough, you'll defend yourself, I guess. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. And so it is done. At long last, Blake and Blackfeather step away from the ritual circle. Blackfeather beckons for Teve and Dominique to join them, and he reiterates one more time. I will light the fire, and once the fire is lit, I will cast the powder into the air and I will begin the chant. If you wish to join in, this is your time. You must close your eyes, focus all of your mental power upon calling Mikote into being. And do not let up. Chant after me. And he recites in an almost sing-song sort of voice, a series of words in the Wampanoag language. The only one you recognize is Mikote. But you're able to mimic the chant well enough. Enough that he nods.
Hey ho, why, yeah.
Enough that he nods and he says, that will do. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a tinder box and holds it above the circle, ready to make the first spark. He meets each of your eyes in turn. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Whoosh! The flame is born, and the fire begins to crackle, flooding the clearing with warmth. The flickering light of the fire plays on the dancing, gnarled shadows and seems to obscure more than it reveals. You're not sure whether that's movement you can see beyond the tree line or just the shadows playing a trick on your imagination. And then... So, Two of you are conducting the ritual, and Teve, you're the one who's keeping them safe. So, Teve, I'd like you to make a listen check for me, please.
Listen. What's my listen at? 50. That's not too bad. That's a 35. So just a pass.
35. Crack. Snap. You hear footfalls, twigs snapping underfoot. Two different assailants. One coming from the east, which is unguarded, and one coming from behind you, where the snares and bear traps are probably sure to capture it.
Oh, I suppose I better take care of the one that's coming from the non-snared area first. So
You
I
turn,
prep myself.
you turn, and ready yourself for it to emerge. O Mikote, guardian of the afterlife, sentinel of the dead, we call upon you, says Blackfeather. And then the song begins, chanting fills the clearing. Okay, here's how the ritual will work, guys. Each round, you may each chant once and attempt a power check. In order for the ritual to be complete, 10 power checks must be passed.
Oh, damn.
Oh dear.
He raises his arms, and the flames before him seem to rise, seem to dance and match his movements. And join in, no Mikote! Mikote! Come answer us! Blake and Dominique, go ahead and make power checks for me, please.
9.
Power check. Oh, that's the wrong button. Now, when you said I had help doing power checks, how was that?
So you roll them with advantage. So you roll twice and
advantage,
take the best roll. Yep.
Okay, what's my power? 50. 12, so far off to a good start. And 67, so that's 12. That's a hard success.
Hard success. And how did you do, Dominique? You also passed?
Yeah. I got
Alright.
a 9. Power is
I'd-
70.
I'd like each of you to subtract 2 magic points from your magic points. As your voices join the chanting, as 3 voices sing together and the chanting drowns out the sound of the wind rustling through the branches, the sound of the crackling flames, the sound of the lake water lapping on the shores. And then Teve, with a crack, the zombie bursts out of the tree line ahead of you. And instantly locks eyes on the 3 performing the ritual. It opens its mouth and lets out a great roar, and then begins stumbling towards them. What do you do, Teve?
Okay, so obviously I'm going to stab it with my stick on a knife. I mean, knife on a stick. But can I do a dex roll to position myself to better do this?
Well, you're using a spear, so I'll say you still have to get close to attack it, but it is a spear, so it's not like you have to be right up. So I will let you do your fighting check with advantage to represent that if you like.
Okay, cool.
Which means he'll just be opposing with a normal roll.
Yeah. Okay, so I roll twice. Is that?
Yeah, roll twice and take the lowest.
That's a 63, so it's still pass. That's a 2. I will take the 2.
You will take the 2, definitely. You rush up behind the zombie, and it only just becomes aware of your presence at the last moment. It's reaching its arm out to grab the back of Blake's neck, and then you thrust the spear forwards. It turns and looks over its shoulder just as the knife pierces its forehead. Its body trembles and falls limp on the end of your spear. You pull it out, and the zombie falls to the ground, no longer moving. There's another crack and a snap, and you turn around, Teve, just in time to see a second zombie step right in one of the bear traps, which snaps shut, tearing the thing's leg clean off. It yells as it falls forwards and smashes its face on a rock. Its body twitches and no longer moves.
Yay.
That's round 1. Well done, guys.
Yay!
Oh, Mikote, great guardian of the dead, great steward of the beyond, we call upon you, your faithful people. The Wampanoag seek your aid. The flames whoosh and rise higher, matching his dance-like movements, and the chanting continues. Go ahead, Dominique and Blake, make me another power check.
That is a 75.
Oh fuck, that's a fail.
Okay, with the advantage, that was a 55, so that is. Oh, I can't use luck on Wait, can I?
No, you can use luck on this, but you can't push it. It's like, because a failure will just be we try again next round.
Well, that's 5 luck points, and that's a normal pass.
So 1 pass, 1 failure, brings it to 3 so far. Oh, Mikote! The chanting gets louder, and for a moment you see Dominique falter as she watches Teve plant the knife in the zombie's head. She falters for just a moment, long enough that the tension in the air returns for a split second. The magic seems to glimmer as if it's going to fade away, and Black Feather growls, "Keep your mind on it, girl! Look away!" Teve, I'd like you to make a spot hidden check for me, please.
Okay. That's a 17, which is a half pass.
Hey.
Now go ahead and make a listen check for me.
Okay. That's a 43, which is a pass.
You hear the sound, you hear the tinkling of a bell somewhere to the north. Something appears to be approaching from that direction. Meanwhile, you hear more heavy footfalls coming from the west, about to stumble into your traps. And third, out of the corner of your eye, you notice movement from the lake. The water that was so still, silent before, is moving. Bubbles rising to the surface, popping, sending ripples across the lake as if something is about to rise. What do you do?
Oh, that's a good question. How many currently in traps?
So one's been taken out by the traps. There appear to be more approaching, and from the north, something has just triggered one of your bells.
Okay, so there's still traps in the north.
And in the
There's-
left.
And in the left. Which way's the lake coming from, sorry?
The lake would be, like, roughly where you are. It's in the vicinity of where the ritual is.
Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on the lake, I guess.
Keep an eye on the lake. Crack! You hear a roar as another zombie steps into one of your traps from the left, and the snare hoists it up, dangling it from one of the branches as it fruitlessly lashes out its arms, trying to reach for its prey that is so far away. And then to the north, you hear another tinkle of a bell, and focused on the lake, it's only at the last moment when you see, rising from the brush to the north, a small, short, childlike figure raising a cylindrical object to his mouth.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Beware, it is the Puckwudgies! Shouts Black Feather. Puckwudgies. Is that what these things are called? Doesn't matter. You're about to kill them.
Quachi. Very fun to say.
Okay, so am I aware of the?
You're aware, you
Pugwudgie?
can see him, you can dodge, or you can strike back at him, but you don't have a lot of time because you were focusing on the lake.
Okay. I run over with one hand, stabbing towards the Pugwudgie, with the other hand gulping down the.
The tea. Very nice. Go ahead and make me a fighting check, please.
Yep. That is a 6. So that's critical.
Yep, nice. You raise the spear and begin to rush him down. You hear a thunk, and you feel a pinprick of pain as a dart slams into your right shoulder, dealing 3 points of damage. Tearing into your skin, you see the blood begin to roll down your arm. It feels warm and sticky, but the poison doesn't take in effect, and as you approach the Pugwudgie, its childlike face looks up at you, its eyes wide with surprise that you're still in control of yourself, and it does not even try to stop you from plunging the spear right into its face. It gurgles and gasps and twists, and then before your eyes, its skin begins to bubble and unravel as the childlike figure collapses into a pile of dust before your eyes. Teve, make a sand check for me.
Okay, what's my stand? 58.
Let's go.
That's not 58.
58, that's a fail.
No, that's a 26. Sorry, I read it as 62.
That will be a sun loss of 1d3 for seeing it disappear before your eyes.
That's 3.
Oh no.
Okay.
You shudder, hesitate for a moment, shocked that the thing turned to dust before your eyes, shocked to see once and for all that it is not human, but you quickly steady yourself, turn around, and prepare to keep defending the others. Oh, Mikote, come to us, be born from the lake of the dead. The flames dance, grow hotter, the heat buffets everyone around the circle. Shadows of trees and people dance as the chant gets louder, reaching a crescendo. Go ahead, Blake and Dominique, power checks again, please. And Blake, you passed and also, I forgot to tell you last round, both of you take another 2 points off your magic.
And I don't need to re-roll, that was a 2.
And please let me know if you run out of magic points.
Well.
Ooh, nice.
I am now at 6 magic points.
That
I've
is
got 8.
You're right for a while. That is 5 successes all together. The magic in the air begins to coalesce around you. The bright blue mist that only Blake can see begins to swirl and press in closer, mingling with the smoke from the fire, dancing as if to the sound of the chant. Teve, you were watching the lake before, and because you chose to watch the lake, I will now tell you that out of the corner of your eye, you see something dark, something big rising from the glowing water to the surface. But also go ahead and make a listen check for me, Teve.
Okay. That's a 13. That's a half pass.
Half pass. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-ling. You hear the tingle of another bell somewhere to the south, and the sound of snapping branches and grass crushed underfoot as something appears to be approaching from the unprotected east. And there's also that thing in the lake, the bubbles rising to the surface and popping as something big, something dark gets closer and closer.
Lucky, is that you?
Huh?
Oh, it's from another campaign. Glucky is a giant slug eldritch god.
Glucky might be worse than this. We'll see.
Oh, no.
What do you do, Teve?
I'm guessing this is because
It might be, you don't know.
I might retreat to the ritual and get ready to set off the light trap.
To prime the traps? Nice. As you retreat to the others, you see another zombie force its way through the trees to the east, stumbling towards you, hands outreach as it gasps for breath. Meanwhile, to the south, you see another Puckwudgie pop his head out from behind a branch. He locks eyes with you and raises the dart gun, pointing it in the direction of Blake.
Oh shit. I guess I put myself in between. Seeing as I've already drank the tea, I put myself in between me and Blake. I mean, the Puckwudgie and Blake.
Yeah, go ahead, make me a dodge check, please.
That is a 17. That is a half pass.
Plunk. You rush into the fray, standing between Blake and the tree line, holding your arms out aloft like Jesus Christ as thunk, a dart slams into the base of your neck. You take 2 points of damage and feel woozy for a split second before you wrench the dart out, raise the spear, and prepare to keep fighting. The zombie is approaching, but it won't reach you until the next round. You've got enough time. And the thing rising from the lake, well, we'll deal with that in a moment. It comes! It comes! Mikote! Shouts Black Feather, dancing, chanting now at such a fevered pitch that it doesn't even sound like words. It just sounds like a scream from the soul. Dominique and Blake, if you'd like to continue assisting, subtract 2 magic points and do a power check again.
Alright, let's go. That is a... Oh, that's a 9... no, sorry. 16, so I don't need to do the second roll. And
47.
now I'm down to 4 magic points.
That's just a pass.
Just a pass, so 2 passes brings you to 7. Whoosh! You hear the water splash as a wave laps against the lake shore, almost spraying all of you in the mist. The ritual flame flickers for a moment, and you're afraid for a second that it's going to be doused, but then it rises greater than before. But now your attention is drawn to the surface of the water, the surface where ripples are violently scattering across the surface, where something deep and dark is just starting to rise. Something black, something formless, something that doesn't appear to have anything that you would call a face or any recognizable features begins to emerge, a black congealed mass of sludge with seemingly hundreds of eyes dotted across the misshapen surface of its body. Here and there, gaping holes open in the folds of black flesh, revealing long, razor-sharp teeth. Before we roll anything else, Blake, I'd like you to roll Mythos for me.
Let's go, 20, come on. Gonna spend it 1 luck point.
You sure can.
So that's a pass.
It is Mikote!
Oh, shit.
Shouts Darkfeather. Do not stop chanting! Keep going! Keep going! If we can complete it, we can end this! Do not give up now, or we will die! I would like everybody to make sand checks, please, as Mikote himself,
That's fair.
this mass of congealed, undifferentiated black sludge
Right.
rises from the Lake of the Dead.
Oh no.
What are we rolling, sorry?
Sand check. And
Sanity.
I passed barely with a 42.
Yeah, I pass.
You all passed. Very well. For passing, that will be a sanity loss of 1d6, please.
Oh, come on.
Another 3.
Low number. Okay, 1.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
A 1d3, did you say?
D6.
1d3, yep. Oh, yeah, 1d6, yep. For passing.
Ooh.
We use the D6 as a 1d3, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it. But you can. There are actual d3s that exist.
Man, I
but...
thought you said it was roll a D6.
Yeah, it's usually but it was a D. Yeah, well, you don't need a D3 in this case. You just need a D6 for D6 sanity
okay,
loss.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so you all brace yourselves. This sense of awe and dread suddenly setting in as you prepare to gaze upon a god, something no human has ever seen. There's a brief urge to cover your eyes to not look, but curiosity compels you, and you silently watch as Mikote rises from the water. The enemy, whispers a voice in your head, Blake. And as hundreds of little eyes of Mikote rise from the water and peer at you as they recognize you as a servant of Yig and lock in on you, you realize that Mikote is no god. Mikote is no demon. Mikote is a survivor of an incredibly powerful ancient race who once held dominion over this land. Mikote is the dreaded Shoggoth.
Oh no.
Oh God.
He comes! He comes! Shouts Darkfeather. Do not give up! Do not stop! If you are composed enough, Blake and Dominica, go ahead and spend your 2 magic points and make your power checks.
Right. 8. So yes, no more magic points, but that's a pass.
more
Can I
magic.
spend luck points?
Right. Oh no, sorry, I've got 2 more yet.
Yeah, you can spend luck points if you want.
Okay, so pass.
And I still have 2 more magic points.
So 2 passes, that brings it up to 9. You only need 1 more. The chanting increases in pitch, and in the face of this horrific thing, it takes every ounce of willpower you have to not give up, to not just crumple in fear, and to keep going. Teve, there's one zombie rapidly approaching. He'll be on you in a second, if not stopped. Meanwhile, the Pukwudgie to the south, upon catching glimpse of his master Mikote, disappears into the underbrush, and you can't see him. And of course, there is Mikote itself, this hulking, heaving mass of black flesh, even now rising a single tentacle the width of a tree trunk, ready to slam it down on the shore and turn all of the ritual goers into pulp.
Eep.
Fight the beacons of Gondor! I will activate the light trap.
Activate the light trap.
Where did my light trap go?
The light.
Let's see if you can do it fast enough. Go ahead and make me a dex check, please, and we will oppose it with the Shoggoth.
It's a real good thing I've got 80 dex.
Oh, good.
That's a 12.
Oh.
And that is an extreme.
Oh.
Very nice. We'll see how he goes. He has a chance to beat it. I won't tell you what he rolled, but I will say congratulations. You rush to the light trap, where the first jerry can is, where the thing that will start the chain reaction lies. What do?
Light it.
You light it. You strike the match. Start pouring the gasoline over the rope, turning it into a makeshift fuse, and then you hurl the match. Go ahead, make a throw check for me.
Oh no. What's my throw? Half strength, which is 60, so 30. Oh, that's not good. Well, that's a 4.
That's a 4. Very nice. The flame instantly ignites. The rope turns into a wall of fire that immediately circles the clearing. There's a loud explosion, and you see the zombie flung far away, snapping his neck as he collides with one of the trees. You hear the sound of a dart being fired. But it doesn't hit anything as the Pukwudgie scatters to hide from the flames. And then there's Mikote, its tentacle coming down, and as the circuit is complete, as the last of the traps ignites and fills the clearing with fire, you watch the hulking Shoggoth freeze for a second, just a second, and shudder. Blake and Dominica, you have a choice here. You can keep going with the ritual, knowing that that tentacle is coming down, but with that second of hesitation, you might be able to do it. Or you can choose this moment to dodge, get out of here, make sure you're alive, and hope and pick up the ritual again. Though if you abandon it, I will subtract two succeeded power checks every round when you're not chanting.
Blake is. He believes that Yig's got full control, so he's gonna use his last 2 magic points.
Last 2 magic points. All right, Dominica, what about you?
I'm gonna dodge.
You're gonna dodge, all right. Dominica sees this huge hulking thing in front of her and realizes in this split second, this is how Dominique died. And she's next if she doesn't fucking move. So go ahead and roll that dodge for me.
You just said Dominic.
Yeah, and not Florence.
See? I was having fun. I subverted it.
The time that you actually say Dominic and not
that's
Florence.
a 4.
Ooh, nice.
That's a hard pass. No, that's a
Very.
6, not a 4. Sorry.
All right, we'll
Still
get
hard
to
pass.
that. You take advantage of the thing's moment of hesitation. You stop chanting, and despite Black Feather protesting, urging you to continue on, you turn and run, screaming towards Teve to save your life. Blake, this is it. Power check. You need 1 more. This is your last chance to do it. You've run out of magic points. If you do not succeed, you will fall unconscious.
I got 27 and 25. And what was my power again? I believe that's a success anyway. Yep, I succeeded with a hard.
A hard. Go ahead and make a dex check for me now, please, because the moment you finish the chant, you notice that hulking Shoggoth tentacle about half a foot from the top of your head coming down rapidly.
That is a 21. That's a hard success.
Hard success. Mikote roars as you complete your chant. Now all that's left is for Dark Feather to end the ritual, to command him as a shaman to leave. He stands firm, peers up into the mass of eyes and mouths and teeth. He opens his mouth, and before he can shout for Mikote to be gone, Mikote rolls a hard success on his dexterity. The tentacle comes down and slam. Blake, you're probably lucky. You take 9 points of damage.
Oh shit! I'm down to 1 now.
Go ahead and make a con check for me.
What's my con?
And
50. Well, I passed out with a 97.
yeah, you leap out of the way and you avoid being crushed outright, but you feel You feel something with the weight of a car slam into your side. You instantly feel several of your ribs snap, and you gasp as you're flung through the air. The last thing you see is the ground rising up, and then with a crack, Blake lands unconscious between Teve and Dominica. Black Feather never gets to finish his sentence because he rolled, failed his dexterity, and then pushed. The tentacle comes down and you don't even see him scream. You just see his whole body crushed into a pulp before your eyes as he takes 15 points of damage and is instantly killed.
Well, fuck.
Mikote roars and the tentacle is lifted up, revealing underneath where the shaman used to be. A puddle of blood and misshapen, fleshy bits. It flails for a moment, obviously struggling to survive again, obviously struggling to maintain its composure against the burning light of the flames that grows more and more intense by the second. It shrieks, cowering away, and you have a moment to finish the ritual. But how?
Did he leave any paper?
You don't know. Are you game enough to get close enough to his body and check?
Well, fuck.
Well, I've got high dex, so I'll run over there and check the puddle.
Alright. Go ahead, Teve. Roll me your dex check, please.
That's a 60, which is still a pass.
I will be rolling for the Shoggoth with disadvantage. Slam! You feel the tentacle hit the ground behind you, so close. So close that the force of it hitting the ground nearly knocks you off your feet, Teve. You stumble forwards and nearly fall face first into what's left of the Woempanoag chieftain. You begin rifling through his robes, his bloodied headdress, and then you feel something hard and sticky with blood. You wrench it out. It's the stone, identical to the one that was given to Blake, and the symbol on it is glowing bright blue. You can feel it in your hand, crackling with energy. It is primed and ready to go. But how do you activate it?
Well, shit, I don't know.
The only one who could would be Dominica, is unconscious.
No, she's not unconscious. Blake's unconscious.
No, I said the only one that could do it is Dominica.
Oh, yeah,
'cause I'm
yeah.
unconscious.
Dominic,
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
shout out how to use this damn thing? Seeing as I have it in my hands right now.
Dominique, have you got any spells you can rely on to give you the answer, or are you going to trust your sister's notes and see if anything can be gleaned from them?
Well, I don't have any spells. I guess with the knowledge of what I knew from reading the anthropology text, coupled
All right.
with her note, her sister's note.
You desperately search your mind. Go ahead and make for me either a hard occult check or a Cthulhu Mythos check.
Well, a hard check, is that like half?
Yep, that's half.
Okay. I got 38, half is 40.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very nice. You recite her notes feverishly under your breath. No. Banishing. Black Feather completed the ritual. All that needs to be done is for it to be activated. You turn in Teve's direction, and you scream for him to recite the chant. The chant to banish Mikote in the name of the shaman, with the power invested in the shaman's stone. But Teve, you haven't been chanting, so you're going to have to wing this, which means you're going to need to roll an intelligence check.
Okay. Just because before I was very, very focused on listening, can that help?
Well, I will let you, in that case, make a listen check instead of an intelligence check.
I mean, they're the same, but...
I'll let you make a listen check, but it will be plus 10.
Plus 10? Okay. I need a 50. Oh, I need a 60. And that's a 14.
It's a 14. Teve steps forwards, his arms held aloft, presenting the stone to the great Shoggoth that towers over him. Come, my people! You have fulfilled your duty. It is the time for your spirit to run free in the great hunting grounds. You all see the sky open, and a field of green plains filled with deer, buffalo, and other wild animals can be seen as a fissure opens in the canopy above, revealing a window to another world. Woempanoag warriors dressed in their ancient clothing chase after the beasts with spears and bows. Hang on. Just changing the music.
Oh no.
The warriors still attacking stop and collapse to the ground. White whiffs of smoke float upwards into the sky, changing into shapes of people before going into the portal that leads to the afterlife. Dozens of spirits flow out of the swamp. Woempanoag warriors, as well as the elderly, women, children. One small native girl in a simple tunic turns to wave, a smile on her face and a tear running down her ghostly cheek. Then she stops, her face transforming into a look of horror. The spirits floating towards the portal begin to be drawn back down. They struggle, but in vain, as if walking into a hurricane. The surface of the pond bubbles. As a large whirlpool opens, a tear in the water begins to loudly suck everything down. The dark water glistens, gleams, as the glowing orbs, as the mist, as the wayward spirits are pulled down into the water, as Makote roars once more and begins to sink down into the lake. He grabs at the spirits with his tentacles and pulls them down. The cacophony grows louder and louder. The surface of the lake whips itself into a frenzy as towering waves splash over the shore, dousing the ritual flame. You watch as the chief's broken headdress and clothes are washed out in the spray, joining his dead ancestors. And then, suddenly, it is over. All is quiet. There are no sounds of movement. The water is still once more. And all is calm. Well done, guys. Somehow you
survived.
managed to survive.
I almost died.
Not doing too great myself.
It takes you a few moments to compose yourself, and Dominica, you have seen what your sister died for. What is your reaction? Do you just let the enormity of it hit you and just drop to the ground and weep, or do you try your very best to stay strong for the sake of your sister's memory, knowing you've avenged her?
As strong and cold as Dominica is, I feel like this would be like sort of a breaking down point for her.
Yeah.
The silence is broken by the sound of Dominica's weeping as she collapses in a heap, buries her face in Blake's unconscious shoulder, and just cries, lets it all flow out as she finally accepts the terrible fate that befell her sister. When you return to the Mashpee township, it is past midnight. And even in the darkness, even in the dead of night, the people are waiting, standing, huddled together in the main street, looks of trepidation and awe on their faces as they see you hike out of the swamp and up the street, as they see Blake broken, barely conscious, suspended between Dominica and Teve. As they see Teve's khakis stained in blood, they look at each other, they murmur. The murmuring grows louder, frenzied, until they finally notice the absence of Blackfeather. Notice that their chief is gone, and instantly they know that he gave his life for the greater good. That he sacrificed himself so that the Wampanoag could at last be free from the tyranny of Mikote and the line of shamans, those with the power to commune with the great Shoggoth, will be lost to time. And that's where we'll leave it. Well done, guys, for ending Mikote's crusade in the swamp. You each gain 1d10 sanity points.
1d8, was it?
1d10
1d10.
sanity points. In addition, for managing to seal Mikote away and everyone survive, all the players at least, you gain an additional 1d6 sanity points.
Ooh.
Oh, I got a 6.
Well done.
No, I'm doing this after. I'm just writing everything down.
Anyone who is below 30 points of luck may add 2d10 points of luck to their total, and each of you may increase your Cthulhu mythos by 5 points and increase any 3 skills of your choice by 1d10 each.
Sorry, what was Cthulhu Mythos?
By 5.
Oh, 5 points, and what was the last one? Sorry.
Any 3 skills of your choice increased by 1d10 each. And that's where Call of Cthulhu ends for now, as this scenario where the spirits dwell comes to an end.
Wait, we've finished where spirits dwell?
Yep, but not Devil's Swamp.
Oh, not Devil's Swamp.
Don't worry, because next time we will begin the second to last scenario in this campaign, entitled Hockomock Hounds.
Oh no. No.
And we will all see what lies on the other side of the swamp. The true nature of the Hockomock and the strange forces that wage war over it is finally within your grasp. The only question remaining being, can your minds survive learning the truth? Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in the next foray into darkness.
I'll be back. Oh shit, I'm not liking the sound of this, guys. But as always, thank you everyone who has joined here today. Love you guys, love your work so much. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that follow button. And if you're ever feeling ever so sexy enough, maybe even consider rubbing that subscribe button a little bit. And come join me on the Discord if you want to stay up to date of when I'm streaming. or if you just want to be a part of an amazing growing community, I love your faces. We will be back with more Cthulhu in a fortnight. So not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. But I will be back maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe Sunday. We don't know. But as always, thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Love you guts. And I will see you all next time.